Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hey everybody, happy Sunday to you. Coming in hot on this Sunday afternoon.
Coming in hot.
Just like the Bajita. Good to see you. I hope you guys are all having a great Sunday. Thank you for joining me today. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jay and I am your host. And this is my channel. If you like the videos that you see, give it a thumbs up. It's that simple. Hello, Miss K and Positive Thinker Helen, Sin, Meg P. And we've got our lovely mods that are in blue. We've got Incognito Potato, Jammers, and Angie B. You guys look so beautiful in blue. So do you, Diana. You guys are so gorgeous. Thank you for being here. Hi, Sin. Thank you, RN. Good to see all of you guys. Meg P and Flip Flop and Girl Next Door. Welcome in. We're taking your calls today. Hello, my beautiful Auntie Cheryl. Miss Avie. Lisa Rose. Hello, Lisa. Hi, Fine Summer. Casey Marie. Good to see everybody. Amy, good to see you. So we are going to be, Karchi is here. Hello, Karchi. And M. M is building a trellis. Damn. You go, M. BDAC, hello. Listening but driving. Your neighbor, can you read? Hello, Emily's neighbor. Hello to Emily's neighbor. Don't mind her racket with the hammer and nails today, Emily's neighbor. Well, I'm going to be taking your calls today. I do have a slideshow on the screen, and you can see a happy Sebastian, which I like seeing, a happy Sebastian. We all have hope that Sebastian will come home safely. But as every day progresses, that hope gets statistically a little less realistic. So that is what we're dealing with. And we're at over 2 months now, or 2 months. No, almost 2 months. Almost 2 months. And we did have a vigil yesterday, and we do have some drama to go along with that vigil, of course, because it seems like these people can't do anything without a little drama on the side. Why? I don't know. But we've got the photo on the screen of Chris Proudfoot literally leaning in on Seth before the vigil. He's kind of got him pinned up a little bit against the truck, and he's got the broader stance. And then after the vigil, we had a video of Seth come out. So we're going to watch that really quick. It's very fast. But this is what happened after the vigil. Thanks. Will you shut the door? Okay, will you shut the door? Thank you. Thank you, babe. Okay, so let's listen to this video really fast. This is only 37 seconds. So this is after the vigil, after they had their little powwow, which I want to talk a little bit about as well. Let's listen to this. This is Seth last night.
Give it a listen.
Me and Chris are putting our differences aside. It's not about our egos. It's about finding Sebastian. Me, Chris, and Katie will begin working together. And if everybody else could just fuck off and put your egos aside, help us find our son. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is the goal of this shit. If you can't get on that, get the fuck off.
All right. So you heard it. He's not telling.
Okay, so that is Seth last night. There is a post from his PI that said, you know, he's talking to the people that don't want, you know, that are giving him a hard time or whatever. I really don't know who he's talking to. And then everybody's like, oh, you know, he gets a free pass to be pissed off. You know, he's grieving. He's worried. He's exhausted. And I agree. He definitely probably is. All those things. But it was weird to me how he got in the camera and like knew exactly what he was going to say. At least it seems like he did. And then to follow up with that, I will. And then to follow up with that, we have the pictures of Chris and Katie in a Harley Davidson store with their Sebastian shirts on. Now, I don't know if that happened during the vigil, but it seems to me that if they worked out their differences in the parking lot of the vigil, why weren't Chris and Katie flanking that man, one on either side, making a public statement that we stand together to find Sebastian? So you mean to tell me we're expected to believe that they worked out all of these different, I mean, they didn't have minor differences, guys. These people didn't have minor differences. They literally, this man was beating Seth's kids. You're awesome. So these aren't like minor differences, like, oh, you know, we talked for a minute, we worked it out. Don't you think that this working out of these differences would take more than 5 minutes by a truck, if it was even 5 minutes? How do you work out differences that fast, guys? That's pretty fast. And if they're working together, I think that they would have stayed at the vigil. That's just me. So yeah, I'll play this again. Right. I mean, CPS was being called and supposedly Seth wasn't in the know about it. I mean, that's some shit you got to sit down and talk about. And the picture that I see of Seth and Chris Proudfoot by that truck does not look like a working out my differences conversation. That does not look like a work. Does this look like they're working out differences to you? Hold on. Let's get that one picture up here. And then we're going to play Seth again. And then I hope you guys will start calling in. Call in. It's the numbers on the screen. 727-755-6001. Do you think that this looks like a we're working out our differences conversation? And why would you have this conversation in front of all of the public at a vigil? So you think Girl Next Door Hold on. I need to talk about this. If they showed up, the vigil would have been focused on them, not Sebastian. And you don't think that this photo, that everyone that's talking about it on social media, on YouTube, everywhere, they're talking about this. And I think that this kind of bullshit takes away from Sebastian. And I'm wondering why they do it. I'm wondering why they do it. He didn't say he was threatened, but can you read body language? Because I can. How do you work out, I beat your son with a belt to the point where the teacher called CPS in? How do you work that out? And this totally looks to me like a confrontational conversation. You guys tell me what you think. But let's take a look at Seth again. This is Seth last night at the vigil for his son, Sebastian Rogers.
Give it a listen.
Me and Chris are putting our differences aside. It's not about our egos. It's about finding Sebastian. Me, Chris, and Katie will begin working together. And if everybody else could just fuck off.
You know, I really feel bad for the people that chipped in for that $30K he's got in his pocket. I mean, just saying, I've seen a lot of parents of missing children. Mark Class is probably one that I always go to in my mind. And I'm showing my age with that case. But Mark Class is the perfect example of a father missing his child.
And put your egos aside. Help us find our son. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is the goal of this shit. If you can't get on that, get the fuck off.
All right. So you heard it.
So he knew exactly what he was going to say because he walked away when he was done. He said what he had to say in 30 seconds. And then he was done. And maybe he means like the guy who said, I have Sebastian, I need money, da 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 da. So he has had a GoFundMe, and I think there's $30,000 in it. To what I've never really looked at it, but I've heard. So it seems to me just a total about face, and it just seems odd to me. It just seems odd to me. Because if that was like the truth, I feel like they would have been there together. They would have been standing next to each other, united for their son. I mean, that's a big fuck off to all the haters. But this is not, and it's weird. He referred to the haters that have been talking about him and such. He shouldn't even be worried about that, in my opinion. Like, that is not something that would be my focus. But somebody asked me to zoom in on this man's truck because they said there's red shit dripping down it. And I'll be damned if there's not. But I don't know what that is, y'all. Do you see that? On the tailgate of his truck, someone said there was red shit dripping down there, but I don't know. It looks like paint or something. Katie had a life insurance policy on Sebastian. I don't know. I call BS. Stop. This is gross. What's gross? What are you talking about? He isn't that way. I bet CP will wind up with ass whooping. Maybe the meds are having him off. I still back Seth and Sebastian. I'm not asking you not to. I'm just talking about the case. I don't back anyone. I don't know why you feel the need to back anyone. None of these people protected that kid. I mean, I'm just going to say it like it is. I don't know why you feel the need to pick sides. Don't pick sides. The focus is Sebastian, not him, not Katie, not Chris. But the focus and the questions should be going to Katie Proudfoot because she was the last to see them. Didn't I just say paint? Did I just say paint? Why do I have to stop looking at things? Okay. But anyways, she was the last one to see her son, allegedly. So I think that the questions should be aimed at her. But I just feel like if they're, all united for their son like they should be, then maybe, just maybe, they should have all been at the vigil. So you know what he said? And I listened. I saw him on Peter Hyatt today. And I'm not against Seth. I don't know the dude. He has a PI. Why do we need to back him? He has a PI. He's got all these agencies and law enforcement. We don't need to pick sides. This is about a missing child. Last I looked, this wasn't about the parents. I saw them looking at motorcycles, but I don't know why they were there, when they were there, what time they were there. So I watched him on Peter Hyatt come on the panel and tell him, you're smart. I like listening to you. I love listening to Peter Hyatt as well. And what he said is very important. If you haven't listened to it, I think you should. And I don't think we should take sides. But I do think that it's weird that this always involves money when kids go missing. It always involves money. And $30K is a lot of money. I mean, I see needing to get by. He's not working. But don't tell me that dude makes more than $35,000, $40,000 a year. If that, being a jailer. He's got a pretty damn nice truck, too. But what are they using that money for? I mean, I'm just talking. And everyone's like, oh, I back Seth. Don't say that. You don't need to back anyone. We don't know these people. They have their family and their friends to back them. And law enforcement and everything else. We don't know them. 56 days now. 56 days. Yeah, it's all drama. It's all drama. Give me a call, guys. 727-755-6001. W, call me. 727-755-6001. Well, he has a Cash App that's not his Cash App. So that's troublesome, too. Like, who are you sending money to? And why not just open your own Cash App? It's not hard. It's not hard. But I just don't think we need to be picking sides and attacking creators for talking about a case. Like, I talk about every case. I've talked, for example, let's talk about JonBenet Ramsey. I've talked about her dad. I've talked about her mom. Nobody comes in here and says, don't talk about Patsy. I mean, come on. It's a case. There's a missing kid. In her case, it's a deceased child. And if we don't question it, y'all are going to be duped. Just like Chris Proudfoot said. Let's talk about some of Chris Proudfoot's statements. I had a nice little call today with a friend. And he made mention of a few statements. And I want to mention those to you and see what you guys think. Chris Proudfoot. Call him Houdini. He always wanted to be a ninja. Now let's talk about Houdini. What did Houdini do? Did Houdini disappear into the night? Thank you, W. I appreciate you. No, Houdini didn't escape. Houdini didn't disappear. Houdini escaped. Houdini was all wrapped up, right? Like a mummy. And he escaped. He's not a correctional officer, though. He's a jailer. He walks the dudes to the shower. He says, don't drop the soap. I'll be back to take you to your cell. I mean, let's call it like it is. The foreign car, yeah, the Mercedes, absolutely. So, yeah, Houdini did not disappear into the night. Houdini actually escaped. And then a ninja doesn't disappear either, do they? I do too, Butterfly. Yeah, like a straitjacket. Okay. So he escaped. He didn't disappear. And then a ninja, what does a ninja do, y'all? Does a ninja disappear? Whew, poof, gone. Like Chris said, poof. That's what he said. He's like a ninja. Poof, gone. That's what he said. Damn, Island Thrifts coming in hot with a $25 tip through J4J411.live. You don't know how much I appreciate you, Miss Island.
Coming in hot,
Just like a fajita. Thank you so much. That is so generous of you. If you tip through J4J411.live, you get your name on the wheel of Friday. All right, so the next one is from Chris Proudfoot. This case will be studied. This will go down. He works for the sheriff's department. You're right. I called him verified his employment, Erica Hartman, because I don't believe anybody on YouTube. I don't believe the shit. So anyways, this case will be studied. This will be a case that will be studied. Okay. Why? Let's talk about this. Ninjas are fast. Ninjas are fast. And ninjas fight. And they wear all black. Right? Would be Lee. Who knows? Does he play video games with said ex-cons? I don't know. Nobody knows. We'd like to know, but nobody's asked these questions. Nobody wants to ask the tough questions because then they'll probably not talk to him again.
I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I guess it would help if I took Do Not Disturb off. My goodness gracious. I've missed so many calls, y'all. What in the heck? I had it on Do Not Disturb. I am so sorry. Y'all call me back. I missed so many calls. Like 6, 7, 8. Oh my God. Call me back right meow. The line is open. I apologize from the bottom of my heart. Here we go. I was like, what the hell? No one's got anything to say?
Call from Dawn.
Hello, you are live on air.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you, sweetheart?
Good.
What's
I
on your
am so
mind?
excited I got through.
Yeah, you did. I'm so sorry. I had my thing on Do Not Disturb. I forgot to take it
No.
off. I'm like, why is no one calling? So, hey,
But let
thank
me-
you for getting through. Yeah, same what's on your mind.
I want to say this first.
Mm-hmm.
Your channel is my favorite channel.
Yay, thank you.
My absolute. And I'm sorry. I'm Dawn. I'm from Georgia.
Dawn from Georgia.
Yes.
Nice. I like Georgia.
But I think you're doing a wonderful job. Wonderful. But
Thanks.
yeah, I really wish they would find Sebastian. And I'm worried about Seth. I think everyone's worried about Seth.
Mm-hmm. What are you worried
He's
about?
just not.
What are you worried about him?
Well, he's not getting enough sleep, and I think everyone is noticing that.
Mm.
He's not getting enough sleep, which he is searching every day. He is. And
Yeah.
I don't understand why Katie's not.
Yeah. Does anybody
I don't
know? Like,
understand.
is he like giving updates on where he's searching and like, you know, that's what I
haven't
would want to
heard
know. Like,
any.
yeah, like on his nightly recaps.
Yeah.
I would love to hear like, hey, today we covered, you know, such and such.
That's what right. That's what I'm sorry I keep interrupting.
No, you're okay. I'm interrupting you, honey.
Like, he would make notes and let us know what areas he searched. There's one thing that I'm kind of confused about.
What's that?
Okay, there's been no sightings in Tennessee whatsoever. And I've heard so many people call in and tell you that they think he's not in Tennessee. I'm starting to wonder. No sightings at all. And I don't want to say that he's not with us. I don't know. I'm on the fence. 7 weeks. I'm on the fence.
Mm-hmm. And Katie did mention in one of her interviews that they were taking flyers, quote, over state lines. And I thought that was interesting that she even said that because we know they hadn't been anywhere. But she's talking about flyers being put over the state lines. By who? You know?
That's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Katie really, I'm not a fan of hers, especially going camping. I'm not a fan of hers.
No, I'm not a
leaving
fan
your
of hers
home.
either. No. I think she has the answers we're looking for.
I believe she does too. I believe she does. I think she is the main one, and Chris kind of swooped in to help, at the
Cover
end.
it up. Yeah.
Right.
Save his
Oh
girl.
my gosh. I mean, Seth is pretty much by himself. I know he has his mom, but he's pretty much by himself. And
Yeah.
since he has joined forces with them, so to speak, I'm wondering how that's going to go, because it's hitting the fan with everybody on that announcement.
It's just so odd to me, the way that it was.
It's odd to me too. Maybe think about it like this. I don't know if you've heard of this one. I'm sure I'm not the first one to say this.
No, go ahead.
Maybe he's trying to do that to see if he can supposedly, quote unquote, butter Katie up and get her to say something.
Yeah, I thought that too, that maybe he was trying to keep his, keep your enemies closer.
Exactly.
But then I had a thought too, Dawn. Now hear me out. What if now that Seth has this PI working the case, if they want to know what's going on, what this PI is finding out, so they go to Seth and say, we want to mend fences because they want the scoop, because they want to keep track of what she's finding or
exactly
investigating.
I thought that might be another reason why Chris went up there and started talking to Seth. I thought that might be another reason, because they're getting kind of little edgy because he does have someone helping. And I think they're getting a little edgy, wondering you're right. You're right.
And another thing too, like when Seth and Chris talked yesterday, where was Katie? Like, if this was truly it seems to me that Seth needs to work out these issues with Sebastian's mom, not Sebastian's stepdad. Stepdad was beating him, for Christ's sake. But we still have this Chris being in control, speaking for Katie.
And that's why I wondered why Chris rode around with law enforcement. Why wasn't that Seth in the beginning? Well, that didn't make sense to me. He wasn't even home, supposedly.
I have a theory on that. And I think that may have been to get Chris and Katie apart so they could talk to Katie, because we see how, aggressively he likes to, step in and tell the story. So maybe they said, hey, we're gonna take you around, show us spots where he liked to go and keep her at the house so they can talk to her alone. That's what I thought. He thought it was because he's somebody, and that's how he's going to portray it.
Well, he's definitely a narcissist and a control freak.
I agree with you on that one. Well, thank you for calling in, Dawn. I got another call
coming in. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Oh,
Can I call back sometime?
Sure, absolutely. Anytime. You are lovely.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You too. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Call from
Ben.
You're live on air. Who am I talking to?
Hi, Jay. It's Ben.
Hey,
from
Ben.
California.
Yeah, good to talk to you again, Ben.
No, I've always been. Everyone's held Seth up as some kind of angel parent. Going out searching for his son, which he should be doing anyhow.
Yeah.
But I've always been very suspect. The whole, that Sebastian fell into his hand, that he didn't hit him. It sounds to me like, when he had him, he just sat him down in front of video games. He's got a lot of money off people, and I think it was pretty disrespectful what he said yesterday. A parent in his position should be, begging people and thanking people for everything they've done for him. Not telling everyone to F off.
Yeah. In his defense, he did come out today and he clarified that he meant that was for the people that were like saying that, they had Sebastian and like effing with the investigation, apparently. But at any rate,
he's let this kid, he has let this kid down as much as the other parents have, I believe. he knew what was going on when Sebastian was home, but clearly didn't do much about it until now. All this has happened. My gut feeling on the whole thing, and I'm probably very wrong. I think people are looking too hard into it. I think either she got mad, locked him out of the house. As I said before, I think it's not on camera because a lot of these cameras are desensitized to not pick up anyone walking by in front of someone's house.
Yeah.
So my guess is she either locked him out or he went on his own accord. And I mean, sadly, if I had to guess, he had no friends. Clearly, they've said that. It could be a case that he unalived himself. Would be my guess. I don't think, I don't see any of the parents actually doing that much harm to him. But I think they let him down in a big way. And I think, he may have just, his life was miserable and he may have had enough. That would be my best guess on what's happened.
And, I've thought that too, Ben, like not to get too far into it, but I mean, what method do you think that he would choose? I mean, I remember the PI saying that they clarified that there was weapons in the Proudfoot home, but she didn't know if they had all been accounted for.
Right.
So,
yeah. I think there's so many, crazy theories about what's happened, but I just don't see, I just don't see any of the three actually, I think Chris Proudfoot has a legitimate alibi. Police must know where he was, by tracking his vehicle. I think, we know Seth was at work, and I think it was just her at home, and she probably, lost her cool, either kicked him out or, had a big row with him and he walked off. And, as I say, my guess is he just had enough. It's very sad. I think he's been let down by all of them. But, time will tell. I may be very wrong.
And to add to that, like a depression aspect, the fact that he missed his old school in White House.
Right.
And maybe wasn't really getting on well at the new school.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so common nowadays. It's horrendous. I mean, you read about it on, social media all the time. Kids his age, he's not young. He's not a kid. He's 15 years old.
Right. And we keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
We keep forgetting he was a 15-year-old. He's a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been taking driver's training.
Yeah. For him to be missing this long, I would guess he's in, within the kind of within the 5 mile radius or so, which is normally the case in these. And I think, sadly, at some point someone's going to stumble across him.
So you think they missed him somehow?
I may be very wrong.
Because of the terrain, you think
maybe
they missed
wrong.
him?
Yeah.
Well, you may be. I mean, everything is up in the air. I mean, we don't know. We're not hearing there was a sign of anything. But we do know that Katie was the last one to see him, and there was an open line to Chris Proudfoot at the same time.
And I just think people held Seth up like he's some kind of saint, which, I never thought, he clearly wasn't that great a parent.
Right. And you know what? He may be facing that reality right now. We never think that our child, something bad will happen,
Well, and they could be blackmailing him as well, saying, you better, toe the line. Chris and Katie could have stuff on him that's made him, come out and say this. That's a possibility as well. But I just overall, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he is alive, and I hope I hope he's found. But it's been so long now that I suspect it's not going to be a good outcome.
Yeah, I think that we all kind of have that in the back of our minds, but after all this time. But thank you for
All right.
calling, Ben.
Well, great show, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, I love your call-ins. I love your accent.
Oh, thanks.
Potato says you sound more posh than she does.
All right. Well, say hi to her.
Okay.
I'm in sunny California. I know she's in grey old England.
Yeah, she's in dreary England.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
He says, tell her hi. She's in dreary England. Thank you so much, Ben, for your call. Let's give Ben a big shout out. And Dawn. Yeah, I know. The diapers and all of that. I know. Y'all, it's crazy. Okay, so the phone lines are back open if 224 wants to call back. I missed 224. So 224, go ahead and give me a call back. Another thing I was going to tell you guys that Seth said this morning on Paxil. Is it Paxil or Pascal? I say that wrong all the time. We are planning a vigil in 2 weeks, is what Seth said. They're planning a vigil in 2 weeks. Why in 2 weeks? And why are you putting a time frame on it? How do you know he's going to still be missing in 2 weeks? Why 2 weeks? Brittany, thank you for becoming a member, sweetheart.
Call from.
You are live. Who am I talking
Hey,
to?
Jay, it's Avy.
Hey, Avy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. I just wanted to bring up just a couple of things. I know people get really upset whenever we talk about this case and we talk about the parents, but I just wanted to cover a couple of things that I think is relevant.
Sure.
If these things weren't important as far as those interviews went with, the other platforms with Chris and Katie, then why are professionals like Peter Hyatt discussing it? Like, he's a professional. Do you know what I mean? Why is he discussing these things? There's another one, Practical. He's got a smaller channel, but he's talking about it too. Why are they if it's not an issue and if all of these things are irrelevant, then why are they talking about it? You know what I mean?
Right. They're questioning the same things we are, basically, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. And I know people get upset when we have a discussion.
Because we don't have credentials. I don't know. But they can F off, in the words of Seth. They can F off because we can talk about whatever we want here. And this is a case. And if you have thoughts, there's no sides. Like, I back Seth. Why? Why do you need to back him? Like, we can talk about what's going on and all of the red flags. I mean, I don't see why not.
Right. And the thing is, with me, as I see Seth going out and searching, but then you had Katie and Chris that, as far as we know, weren't searching. I mean, do we know that 100%? I guess not.
Right. I mean, do we really know for 100% that he's out searching every day?
Well, yeah, that too. I mean it's just...
I mean, my question is really, why isn't he getting on YouTube and giving search updates? Like, hey, today we made a lot of traction. We managed to cover, a 2 mile square. And I'm exhausted,
I did notice that he was doing that at first because they were having search parties and some creators were inviting anybody that was willing to help to come out and meet him at this location or that location. But I think that whenever the hate started ramping up online against Seth, I could tell he started to walk it back, which makes sense to me. I think I probably would too. With all that hate, I don't think that I would want anybody to know where I was at a specific time. Do you know?
True.
So maybe it's that.
True. But I'm saying after. Like, the day's done. Hey, today was a pretty eventful day. Or, I mean, we don't hear anything. It's just like, I was searching. Like, what are you searching?
Yeah.
Where are you going? And give us updates. I mean, we sit and hear the same thing. It was like every night him bashing the Proudfoots. And it was all a Proudfoot versus Seth. I want to know what kind of, leeway he's making to find his son.
Yeah. And the thing about that too is maybe he's not going up and giving recaps because maybe he's going to go back to maybe that specific area. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to keep I really am trying to keep an open mind. It's really
I know you are.
to do, especially
absolutely.
on the Proudfoot side.
Absolutely. I
but,
mean, the bottom line is the last one to see him is usually the one that has the answers.
Right. And I think that it's odd too. And I know that this has been discussed on other platforms and probably yours as well, that it is odd to me that Sebastian was dressed in all black that night and then Chris's statement about a ninja. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's very odd.
Like if he would have been on my platform and he would have said, oh, just call him Houdini, I would have been like, whoa, back up. Why am I calling him Houdini? Houdini escaped from something.
Escape from?
Yeah, I would have said, what did he escape from like Houdini, Chris? That's what I would have said. But these people won't call into my platform because I will ask them that. And they listen. Yeah. They listen to everything that's talked about them. I guarantee it.
And, then the other thing is, people, there's a lot of backlash to Katie and Chris leaving their house. And, and maybe that was for security reasons. Maybe it very well could have been. I know they were at their house for an extended period of time before they left. Could that have been because of all of the hate? I don't know. But still, in my mind, I'm thinking, what if Sebastian came home, though? Like, he would have come home. It would be difficult I've never been in that situation before, so I can't say what I would or wouldn't do. But I would be thinking, well, what if Sebastian comes home? Like, you know what I mean? I want to be here with open arms for when he returns, but I don't know how bad they felt threatened with, all the hate and everything that was going online. There could be several things going on behind the scenes that we don't even see. There could be nasty, threatening messages and everything else that we don't see. And everybody knows where they live. So it's like, I don't know. Is that it or not? But I would still want to know, like, I mean, if my son came home, that I would be there.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So,
but, it's also kind of interesting, too. Okay, so let me tell you this. There was a case a long time ago in the 90s of baby Sabrina Eisenberg. Eisenberg was their name. They were in Tampa. Their baby disappeared from the crib. Okay, and the mom woke up. Garage door was open. Oh, my God, my baby's gone. This baby never was found. Never. They never found her. But what the FBI did was they bugged the Eisenbergs' home. And they listened to their conversations, but they bungled it. These guys effed up the audio, and you weren't able to hear it. But my point being is that they do stuff like this. So what if they bugged their home and they didn't want to be there talking?
Right.
Is that possible?
Yeah. There's so many possibilities. I still would want to be home.
I would too.
My child came home.
I would too, but I wouldn't want to be there if I couldn't talk openly. If I had something to hide, I wouldn't want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if you did feel like or if you thought you were threatened and you were worried about your safety, number one, it's like, even if that is the case, what about your child's safety? Like, he's the one who's missing.
Right.
Do we know? I mean, is he eating? Is he stuck somewhere that he can't get out? Is he cold? Is he, all of those things? Like, I mean, I would be more concerned. And I say that I've never been in that situation before, but I think that I would be more concerned about my child's well-being than my own.
I would too. Absolutely.
And you can always call cops to come and sit at your house. I know
especially if you have family,
24/7.
in law enforcement. Like, you would think you'd be able to call them and. Yeah, obviously they have something to hide, and it could be the abuse. I mean, it could straight up be abuse. Like the last caller thought maybe Sebastian took his own life because of the situation he was in and his mom not wanting him to go to his dad's. Maybe he didn't see a way out since mom was digging her heels in saying, no, I don't want him to go.
Yeah.
But I have a question for them. Where is Sebastian's backpack? I've never heard about a backpack, and every kid has a backpack. I just want to know if his backpack is accounted for. Because if I'm going to run away, I'm going to take things, and I'm not going to do it barefoot. So is his backpack there?
Yeah, that was,
I've just never heard that.
You know, when we were listening to the dispatch on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
that still disturbed with the person that was walking with the bag. And where did that person go? Even if it wasn't Sebastian, like, what's up with that? And is that person okay?
Right.
Someone walking down the road with a bag on their head?
Yeah, I know. It's weird. And a mannequin?
Yeah, that was really, maybe, you know, I forgot to Google that. I was doing some Googling on Friday, as you know. I was bombing you with the emails.
I know. I love it. I love it.
But, maybe people do use that to deter people from coming onto their property. Like, oh, crap, there's, you know, somebody standing in the woods. You know, I'm not going to trespass over there. So maybe it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I need to Google that. And
yeah,
then
you do.
The last thing I'm going to say, because I don't want to be super hardcore annoying, and I know other people want to call in. The person that was in chat the other day, if he is in chat now, I guess my question is, and maybe you have the same question, is that a case that you want Jay to cover? Is there something that's still unresolved if you're here? I'm just curious to know that.
Which one are you talking about?
So the one that was in your chat Friday that left the messages, and it was about a case, and I emailed you some information about it.
Yes.
And
now I remember.
It looked like everything, it appeared that everything had somewhat been resolved, but I'm just curious if he is here listening or if he's on replay, because if that's why he was reaching out, you know, because I think that would be an interesting case to cover.
Yeah, if you are listening, because it looked like she got out of jail, right? Looks like she got out of jail.
She only got 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it is interesting. If you are listening, call person in chat that we're talking about. What was the name again? Stephen?
Stephen, Klick.
Click.
But I didn't know if he was reaching out for help or assistance or some.
He said thank you for
coverage.
covering it, and I don't know if I covered it a while back. I've never heard that case, I don't think, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, that was what I wanted to say.
Well,
and I'm
thank
really sorry
you.
to keep bothering you.
You're not bothering me at all. Send me, Google. You're fine.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in. All right. Take care,
Good to talk
sweetheart.
to you. Have a good one.
You
Okay.
too, Ave.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, Ave. Thank you for calling in. You guys call in. Oh, here we go. You are live on air. Oops. Tracy, you're live on air.
Hi, Jay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I want to thank you for covering this case first and foremost. I mean, I've been following it since the beginning. I just wanted to kind of give my opinion on Seth. I feel like, you know, I know some people are judging him, and listen, we're all human. We judge people, like that's natural. But I do feel like he's really the one that is out there, you know, since the beginning, trying to locate his son. And, you know, he's even stated he's not perfect. I really feel that he knows he made mistakes. And, you know, I really feel for him. I think that he's working with the Proudfoots because he's trying to get close to them. I think he's a lot smarter than, you know, we really, you know, think that he is. I think he's using a strategy where he really is just trying to get all the information. He knows that you know, law enforcement is communicating with them and everything. And I think he's really just trying to find his son. And he's at this point, he's kind of like saying, I'm going to do whatever I can and, you know, work with whoever. And I don't care what anybody thinks. I just want to find my son. And, none of us are perfect. No parent can say that they've always made the right decisions with their kids. I try every day to be the best mom that I can, but I'm sure I can improve. Everybody
Sure,
can.
we've all made mistakes as parents.
Absolutely.
None of us are
And,
perfect parents.
Yeah, and I really do. I just want to express, I do feel for him,
Mhm.
mostly. We all have our opinions about the other side, and that's normal. I think that we're all kind of on point with that. But I think he's smarter than we think, and I think he's really just trying to get in there and get all of the information just to find Sebastian.
I hope you're right. And I hope that he
I
gets
hope
the
so,
answers
too.
that he needs.
I
Because
hope
they're
so,
not
too.
stupid. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to let
absolutely.
Seth dupe them as easily as it
Absolutely.
sounds.
Absolutely. And Chris, I mean, he seems to be such a manipulator also. And, I hope and pray that they're not manipulating Seth. And I hope that he really does have, a tact that he's going in there and he's just trying to get close to the enemy and trying to find out everything that he can.
I think you're right. I think, we do have to give him the benefit of the doubt because he knows them. We
Yes.
don't know them and we're
Very
not
true.
in his shoes, right?
Very true.
He
Very
knows
true.
Katie better than anyone, right?
Absolutely.
He's
Yep,
known her
yep.
since she was 12, from what I hear. So
Wow,
he knows.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
I guess from what I hear, and I can't confirm it, but I did hear that they were family friends somehow, and he knew her since she was
Okay.
12.
Wow.
So he knows her in and out, if you will.
Yes. Yes.
But it doesn't seem like he's able to communicate directly with her. And that
Yeah,
is-
because I think Chris blocks everything.
Yes, he
because
does.
he has, his agenda, which is
Mhm.
very sad.
Mhm.
If listen, and again, I'm not going to pass judgment, but if that was my son, no man would come before my son, and no man would tell me what I'm going to do when it comes to finding my child. If she's innocent and she doesn't have a hand in this, like no man should be able to tell, or woman for that matter, on the other side, nobody should be able to tell you when it comes to your child what to do and what not to do. You do everything that you can to find your child and to make sure that
Right.
they're safe and protected
And
at all
I'd
times.
probably have that attitude too. Like, you know what? You guys don't know me. You don't know my son.
Yeah.
Let me make the decisions that I'm going to make without judgment. But you know what? You can't
Yeah.
do that on YouTube. You can't. That's
no,
not
you
how
can't
it works.
because people, and everybody, people will turn against you on a dime, and that's for sure.
Mhm.
But I think he stated on Pascal. I hope I'm saying that right.
I know.
But I
you
watched
are,
him
I think.
also.
I said
But,
Paxil, and I didn't mean to come out like that. I know it's not
I
Paxil.
know. I'm like, I watch so many people. Like, I'm just following 24/7. I have this case on. It's in some point in the background, whatever, trying to follow everything and everyone. But he did say on there that he didn't mean it against the and I'm sure you heard that he didn't mean it against the people who have contributed and support him and everything like that. I think he just, for whatever reason, maybe Chris got him riled up or something, and he kind of spoke out of line, definitely. But again, we don't know how we would be in that position. We probably would also be,
Yeah, and I think it's good to
moody
keep
and
an open mind
exhausted.
like that and be kind,
Absolutely.
right? Be kind.
Absolutely. I feel like, yes, I do feel like this world needs to be a little bit more compassionate and, less about ourselves and try to put ourselves on the other side and, kind of just go with that. But we're all human and, but I think we all know that.
Yeah.
But I won't take up too much of your time, but
Well,
I
thank
just
you for your
wanna
call.
just state, I just wanted everybody to kind of maybe see the other side of it.
Sure. I appreciate your thoughts, and I appreciate your kindness. Because I
And
think
thank
it
you.
is
Keep doing what you're
it
doing.
is a gentle reminder, because we can get a little ahead of ourselves with our mouths.
Yeah.
And I think it's
And
good
it's
to keep that in check.
Yes, and we're very passionate about it. We want Sebastian found, so we're all angry, we're upset, and all of our emotions are running too. So
Sure.
it's very easy to lash out and, to blame somebody, because we just want this boy found.
Right. But I
But
think
I appreciate
I
you
appreciate
speaking
you
with
as
me.
well. Yep. Thanks for your call.
And again, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. You have a
Bye-bye.
good one. Bye-bye. 626. You can give me a call back. The line is open. Thank you for your call, caller. Kindness is key. We have to be kind. But being vigilant is very important as well. Was his shoes on when he was taking out the trash? Ask Katie. I don't know.
Call from.
Hey, you're live on air.
Oh, how are you? I'm Emily.
Hey, who is this?
I'm from Bossier City, Louisiana.
You're Emily?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Emily.
Hi, and this is what I've been thinking. I've called all the other shows, and I can never get through, so I'm a new subscriber today. And
Well,
thank you for putting me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I love your view, because now Seth, from what I'm understanding, he didn't see Sebastian for, a month before he went missing? Is that correct? Like a month and a half?
I don't know if it was that long. I was confused on his last visit because I thought he got him every other week. But then it didn't sound like he's had him in a few weeks. So I don't know.
Yes, I'm thinking a month and a half is what I heard. I've been following it. And then he hadn't talked to him in days. It was a Thursday. Was the last time he talked to him before he went missing.
Yeah.
So, all those parents failed that kid. That's what I think.
Maybe his communication was limited with Sebastian via Chris and Katie. Maybe they only gave him set times. That's what I would like to know. Did you have free reign to call Sebastian whenever you wanted? Or did you have to go through Chris? There's another question that no one's asked, right? Because Chris seems to control everything. He's got an open line to Katie for 3 freaking hours. For doing what?
Yeah, exactly.
Punishing someone, maybe?
I think they're in an open relationship. Because have you heard that they were swingers?
I've heard stuff about them, yes.
Everything's allegedly.
Everything's allegedly, but I have heard stuff about that, yeah, but I don't know.
They're in an open relationship.
I don't know. I thought it was interesting on the what do you call it? The dispatch audio. There was something said about he was supposed to be in by midnight or something about midnight, but I couldn't make it out because it was all kind of cutting out. But there was something said in the very beginning of the dispatch when they were looking for him that he was something about midnight.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Not gonna lie, I didn't hear that.
And then Katie made the mention of midnight, and then it's just weird.
And then I heard on another show, I heard them say, it's funny how Katie says, if they were on the phone, how come Chris doesn't say anything about him hearing Katie with the bump in the bedroom? Because, Chris likes to talk over Katie. And then I said, I've never thought of that. That's smart. Because she'd have been on the phone with Chris when she heard the bump.
Right.
And Chris didn't corroborate her story, that story.
He never did. He's never mentioned the thump.
Right? He didn't
or the
say,
thud.
Yes, that's right.
The thud.
Mm-hmm. He never backed her up on that. And wouldn't you say, I took my kid when I was putting him to bed, he brushed his teeth, we put his night clothes on. Wouldn't you go into a little more detail about putting your kid to bed?
Well, he's 15, though. I mean, when my kids were 15, I'd be like, it's time for bed, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She didn't give much detail about the going to bed.
Well, I think her red flag in the going to bed is, I told him to go to bed, and he did. Like, why would you need to solidify that he did? Like, why would we think he didn't if you told him to? So she's giving a little more information there. He must not have.
Right. And another thing, I would be freaking out. I'd want to know everybody that was in Texas. If this had happened to me and my kid vanished, I'd want to know everybody that was in Texas Roadhouse. I would say somebody followed me home and waited outside for my kid. I mean, wouldn't you think that too?
I would think of everything. Yeah, that probably eventually would be something I would think. Absolutely.
Right. And then that's another thing. Maybe somebody saw him. People are crazy. And they tapped on, I don't know.
She says, I don't know why he went out that door. She's adamant that he went out the door.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I
It's
don't
very,
know.
it's messed up.
And if it was my kid on day 52, I would be sedated somewhere. They would really, because I would lose it. My daughter and her friend hid in the closet when they were 7 years old, because her mom was coming down the road to get her, and the kids, my daughter and her friend, went and hid in the closet. So when we went to get her, we didn't see her. And when I tell you, it was crazy. Everybody in the neighborhood was coming outside. Of course, this was in the afternoon, but it was. And then one of the neighbors told my mom to go look everywhere in the house. So it only took her 3 minutes to clear the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for calling in. I've got another call coming in, but I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Call from
Robin.
Robin, you are live.
Jay, I've been trying for a while to get through.
Robin, I'm sorry. I had another call, but you're live now. What's up?
I wanted to talk about this from the beginning. I live in Memphis.
Okay.
So I can tell you for one, there is not a rock that is going to move on the St. Jude property before 7 a.m. That's just not going to happen.
Gotcha.
For one. So right out of the gate, this guy's lying. I don't know what crane he was on, but it was in his mind. Okay, for one. Okay. Now, for two, this whole thing of being on the phone and doing this three-way with the sheriff office.
Yeah.
Now, I looked it up. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So if he would have called, that call would have been diverted somewhere. So if he called, he had to call somebody affiliated with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, which I'm assuming may be a friend that he called right out of the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we get into this call, and it's three-way. Now, he said that, and Katie's muted because she's so hysterical. I haven't seen that woman hysterical this whole time, but she was hysterical that they had to mute this phone.
Right.
Now, how is it that law enforcement wouldn't say, ma'am, gather your whole self together since you were the only one there? Now, I would think that's how law enforcement would act. Unless you're talking to a friend that would let you go ahead and put this information out right out of the bat when you're supposedly 200 miles away and you're just hearing this secondhand. What law enforcement sends out a search and does all of this on secondhand information when the party directly involved is on mute? On mute. They're on mute.
On mute.
Because we just can't gather ourselves, yet we're so ripped up that our son is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was thinking, since she has a background in communications with the Navy, and she works with Brinks, supposedly, which the truck is there, I'm going to go ahead and believe it. Now, we all know cell phones can be manipulated. You can spoof and put another number up and, you're calling from your phone and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Now, I was thinking, all right, so we got Chris, where's my foot up my ass? Proudfoot. He's in his little camper, right? He's playing house in his little camper.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if his phone is on, and they have burner phones, and there's some way she can manipulate that phone to turn it off, which I think that's probably possible, that could happen. So this guy could have been on the road at 9 o'clock. I drive from Memphis to Vanderbilt, and I can do it between 3 and 3.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And
doorstep to doorstep.
Right. Doorbell to doorbell. Ring to ring. Blink to blink. Next to next. Whatever we're doing that day. Okay? So, I mean, and that's in normal morning traffic, 6, 7. Not in the middle of the night. So, if his phone could be manipulated, and let's just say that it's a theory that they had burner phones, this kid, that gives him 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
9 to 6 in the morning, that is more than enough time. You could get back to Memphis by donkey, okay? if that was the case with the time that was going. But, this guy, right out of the gate, he lied about being on this crane. So, they always say actions speak louder than words. This man has a vested interest in this more than he might be covering for his wife, that something might have happened. And let's just say something happened. I mean, why, even if she hit him, he fell, he hit his head, and the poor kid died.
Mm-hmm.
You could just say, he was in his room, he fell, I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Why this elaborate? Even if he truly did run, why all of these lies that they've been caught in? That doesn't make any sense. Now, on the other side of the coin, keeping it closer to the Ring doorbell in Hendersonville. Now, from what I've heard, and I don't know if this is true,
mm-hmm.
his family has a vested interest in a funeral home.
I've heard that too. I haven't confirmed that, but that's what I've heard, that they have.
And again, this is just a theory. Let's just say something devious happened, whether Mr. Chris was there or not. And I hate to say it, but if something happened, how easily would it have been to cremate this poor kid?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they're so confident he'll never be found.
Yeah, they are very confident, Robin.
And that's what kills me is, the confidence in this, that they're running around and doing all this crazy shit, whether it's, for a motorcycle, whatnot, but they in the beginning, they were so obsessed with this Mississippi. Now, where he stayed is in South Haven, Mississippi.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's about 15 minutes from St. Jude, right down 55. You get off at Goodman Road, the first light, you make a left, and it's right there. But there's a lot of back roads down there.
Yeah.
And from us out here, we call it Tunica, even though it's Robbinsville.
Okay.
And that's where the casinos are.
Right.
Now, there's the back road right off of the street where this Yogi Bear and Boo Boo place is that he's camping. Now, you can get right to 61. Back in Tunica, where these casinos are, they sit on the Mississippi, okay? And there's a lot of little hidden waterways, ponds, creeks, whatever you want to call them. It would have been nothing, especially since it was so urgent. He got back to that RV. Now, I'm assuming on when he went home, that RV was able to be left alone for the 2 or 3 days. Why was it so urgent he went back to that RV? Right when this happened, you weren't consoling this out of your mind wife that had to be muted, that she couldn't talk to the police right out of the gate, yet you could leave her alone. You could leave her alone to go check on your house on wheels. It makes
no sense.
To me.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. And if you go right back to the beginning,
mm-hmm.
You know, and you look at it, this whole thing was based on a lie right out of the gate. And you're not going to tell me that that kid with his issues, he pre-planned and said, okay, it's 10 o'clock, I'm out of here. Screw the shoes, screw the socks, the backpack, anything else. I'm just taking my handy-dandy flashlight and I'm going to go. It's impossible that with his mental state that he could have crafted all of this undetected, unseen, or whatever. And, you know, Chris's comment about Houdini, technically Houdini was an illusionist. He was an illusionist. So I find that very odd. Out of anything you can compare him to, you can compare him to an illusionist.
Right.
And that's what we're all under, is an illusion that this kid ran away. There are 15 and 16-year-olds waiting at, 1, 2 in the morning. Where are their parents? They're waiting to kidnap Sebastian. And all of these kids in Hendersonville are all so crafty. They've all eluded the police. All of them. He was kidnapped. He was taken, a stranger. No, Chris has been running this narrative out of the gate, and he laid the groundwork, and I'm suspicious that first call was to a friend, because that would have been forwarded to either 911 or whatever, that he claims that those steps were missed because he called directly. Well, unless Barney Fife was doing overtime that night, they're closed from 8 to 5. So that call would have been redirected, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to say the police department? Well, I don't know that the whole police department, but I'm assuming whoever he called is in over their head. And now they're trying to save their ass too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's where this is getting all mixed up, and where everybody's saying, Sumner County should be doing more, TBI should be doing more. Well, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, that could possibly be the reason why they didn't do more. This was a friend calling, his autistic kid got out. We got to go help find him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they ever dreamed that. But then maybe after the search in the beginning of that, and they realized whether or not he ran away or not, they were in a little bit more over his head. And you got the sister that's an element that works with them or whatever. So was this a family favor? And that's why he called? He didn't go through 911. I get the whole thing. It would have pinged from Memphis.
Like not making it as urgent as.
Exactly.
Like calling the 911. Oh my God, my son's gone. Like, hey, he got out. He was found under a car before. So can you guys go look for him?
And that's why she was muted, because Chris had this whole thing mapped out. And for some reason, for them to be so fixated on the South Haven, Mississippi in the beginning, nobody was threatening them in the beginning. Everybody was looking for this poor kid.
Yeah, you're right.
That was running around. Nobody was threatening them. Nobody was doing anything. Now, where are all these signs for this kid in their town? In their town. They don't even, a neighbor doesn't even have one out.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's something not right. There's a piece of this puzzle that's missing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why TBI, Sumner County, that's why they're not saying nothing. Because they don't want nothing to come back to them. Well, you said this on the 4th. You said this on the 28th. That's how Chris is digging his hole. And if you notice, he hasn't been, he'll be in the chat or whatever, but they've all dipped out. on going on shows and whatnot. And let's just face it, I don't mean anything bad by it. But, this Seth Rogers, he's a few fries short of a Happy Meal. He's not the brightest bulb. And Chris, he is on his way to manipulation. That's all Chris is doing with this guy. Chris don't care about his money. Mama Boxer short, she's got enough money to go ahead and get him out of whatever trouble and whatnot. He don't need no $30,000 that Seth's collected. He's worried they've got to be getting closer to something, because he hasn't given a shit about Seth this whole time. And all of a sudden now, with this PI, he's got to lure this guy back in.
So do you think, though, that the Proudfoots are kind of cozying up to Seth, though, to find out what the PI is finding out?
Oh, I think that's exactly what's happening. And he's trying to manipulate Seth with the PI like he does every other situation.
Yeah, I think you can easily play on Seth's emotions right now.
His emotions, and like I said, I mean no harm.
Right.
But he ain't the brightest bulb, okay? He's just not.
Right.
He's not at all.
Right.
And I don't think this guy right now, given the circumstances, is thinking past his nose, let alone, dissecting the things that are going on. And I don't blame the guy. But I think Chris, just like everyone else in his life, he preys on the weak.
Yes. Yep. I agree with that. I think he seeks out weak women. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Robin.
No, I do think that there might be some piece of the puzzle in Mississippi. And from what I understand, if they ran back there again, if this blew wide open, from my understanding, Mississippi doesn't extradite.
Really?
Yes. That's my understanding. And that's what I thought in the beginning. Is this going to blow wide open? And that's why he had the camper, but then he came and got the camper and brought it home. Now, he claims, I heard on another podcast, that he's helping out a buddy at Vanderbilt, doing some project over in Vanderbilt. Well, I mean, they seem to be right back in the regular. The only thing they don't have is supposedly to be tied down with Sebastian now. So,
right.
They're living the good life. They're coming and going as they want. He's working.
I mean, I can't lie. I can't lie, Robin. When I saw her on Live PD, she looked refreshed. She looked relieved to me.
No, and that's why I'm saying, the actions speak louder than the words, and the confidence that they seem to be like they're over the hump, that this kid isn't going to be found. And that's what made my mind wander to this crematory. And like I said, boxer shorts, they've been on 2 vacations. They went to Alaska and they went to Puerto Rico. Now,
but do you want to know my thoughts, though, on the Bauer socks?
What's that?
And this Alaska thing? Okay, this is my theory. I don't think that any of these grandparents are going to risk going to prison.
No.
Because something happened. Well, first of all, I don't think that they were even close with Sebastian. Let me just say that. Chris didn't like him. So I don't think his family probably didn't go out of their way to make him feel like one of their own. Right? Because we can see how he was with Faith, and that's his blood. Like, your kid's living here, but my kid can't even come here, type thing.
Right.
So I could see that, and I don't really think that the parents of Chris would care so much about Sebastian to, cover something up for them. I feel so what I'm saying about their vacation, basically, is I feel like they probably already pre-planned it. A lot of people pre-plan those vacations like a year in advance, and they're very expensive. So it could have been a thing where they said, you know what, there's nothing you guys can do, just go.
No, and I realize what you're saying, but I've been on plenty of cruises in my life. and I've been to Alaska. And when you're dumping $3, $4, $5, $6, $7,000 into the cruise, depending on what line you take, it's not much. It costs about $125, $150 to get your cruise insurance. And if anything happened like this,
okay.
And I had a cruise back in 2001, and I had cruise insurance, and my grandmother wound up
But I
dying.
mean, let's just be real here. What if they just straight didn't give a shit?
That very well might be. But on the other side of the coin, I agree with you. I don't think they gave a shit about Sebastian
I
at
don't
all.
either.
He just happened to be there. But what I do know is the old lady gives a whole lot of shits for Chris.
Yep.
That I know.
Yes, and she was there first thing in the morning.
Right, and I believe she's the mother that would do anything for her kid.
You might be
and
right.
That's what I'm saying.
Roberta
If they
Laundry
had-
all over again.
Yeah, and if they had any means to cremate this kid, I mean, you send this, even if they had to go and send from the funeral home to the crematory, they could go ahead and falsify, whatever. This is so-and-so, we need him cremated. Nobody's going to open the box and look.
Oh, I don't know. I just think that's getting so many people involved that have to be quiet.
Well, I do agree with you, but I find it impossible that we have to start thinking out of the box, because this kid did not walk away. I mean, besides him talking, that particular night, the garage lights weren't on. That night.
Right.
When they're always on. So, we have to start thinking out of the box with this. This isn't normal. This isn't a kid that ran away, the sex offender in the neighborhood.
But Robin wouldn't. Okay, so let's say something happened at home, foul play.
Right.
And she put him in the car, in the garage, and she left. Because, I mean, no one sees him outside, right? Her carrying or loading anything, right? We know that the garbage was a little heavy that day.
Right.
But we don't know how heavy.
No, we know that landfill caught on fire.
The landfill in Gallatin caught on fire. Yes, it did.
Right. I mean, just all these coincidences that happened.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But we have Mama Proudfoot coming over to their house first thing to be with Miss Katie. Now, normally, it wouldn't be weird to call your mother-in-law and have her come over. But why on God's green earth would they leave Seth a message? That is something that you're the mom and the kid goes missing on your watch. You better damn well be calling that biological father yourself.
But not only that, like they had said in the beginning, that was Seth's weekend to have Sebastian. So why wouldn't you have called to say, did you swing by and come and get him? When you got all, what's going on? He's gone. Not a word. Not a word. And why wouldn't she call? Why would Chris leave messages for Seth? This guy, he has always interjected himself in everything. And that's why I'm saying he has a vested interest in this. He just is not covering for Katie because, something happened that shouldn't have been that house. This was planned. There are too many coincidences that just happen to fall into place on that night.
Robin, let's go back to the end of January, okay? When we heard about CPS being brought in.
Right.
That allegedly a teacher had called because Sebastian told her about the abuse.
Right.
So listen to me, hear me out. So we have Chris Proudfoot who says he hasn't been home the whole month of February until Sebastian went missing. So is this a case where Chris wasn't allowed to be around Sebastian?
Well, that's what rumor had it. Rumor
Okay.
has it that he wasn't allowed to be there per
Right.
CPS.
Right. So he
And
wasn't.
he's tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's working over the bills. He's high up in the crane every day, working all these crazy hours that they don't even work, paying the bills, and that guy can't even come home and take a shit in his own toilet. That doesn't sound like that's going to go over big with Chris. Now, not only that, rumor had it that Sebastian was supposed to testify in that upcoming hearing.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So, there's a lot more pointing to Chris and Katie, and Chris is the one that's going to benefit from Sebastian being out of there.
Correct.
Than Katie. And she looks like a mother that is just going along. Now, are we blackmailing Seth or are we blackmailing Katie?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because nobody's going to tell me that there weren't cameras in that house. And was he tape recording her? She's known to be a drinker. Does he got her drunk all the time? What does he got on her? Because that's how Chris works. He preys on the weak and he's got the receipts to back it up.
Sure.
Whether it's legally, illegally, however he gets it, he's going to blackmail your ass to bow down.
I think you're right, Robin, and I think that stance yesterday shows that he pulled some weight on Seth yesterday.
Oh, he was a man on a mission.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was a man on a mission. He had to go seal up some corners on this and rail it back in. And that just proves their behavior. Neither one of them, you can tell me you love that kid all day long. It's a mother. I don't doubt there's some kind of love there. There has to be. But I'm not sure that love overruled her husband. And I don't know how long the abuse has gone on with him, with her, because she does act, whether it's verbally, emotionally, physically, she acts like she's abused, and that could be why she drinks.
Well, I think that if you go back and look at Katie's life and you hear about her mother and her family and her getting knocked up at, she got pregnant at 19 and had a baby with a man that was pretty, a lot older than her. So that tells me that she was looking for someone to help guide her, right? And I think that's probably what she looks for in Chris. But then on the other hand, I can't underestimate the bitch because I've seen her photos before this and she has her hair done, scrunched, it's poofy. Yeah. She's got full makeup on. And that tells me that normally she puts makeup on and does herself up. And she
this is for the cameras. This untapped, disheveled, no makeup. That's for the cameras. That broad would not. You think you'd find her in a Kroger looking like that? Get out of here. Get out of here.
Kroger.
You wouldn't even find her ruffling through the discount aisle looking like that.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
And that's just it. This was planned. This was planned. All of this, it's like we're watching a show.
Mm-hmm. Sadly.
And none of it makes any sense. I don't care what avenue you want to go about. And I don't necessarily know that Seth is playing stupid on he doesn't know anything that went on in that house. How do you not? What are you going to tell me? The whole weekend you got this kid, he's nonverbal? He doesn't say anything to you, doesn't give you a heads up, but yet he planned this great escape, as Mr. Chris says, but he didn't say a word. He's got himself together enough not to ever say a word about it, not do anything. Seth has no clue. Don't ask me, boo-boo. I don't know. He's playing that card. But yet this kid is so crafty to plan all of this?
Yeah.
Come on.
And dupe all of law enforcement. Like he said. He said this kid duped everyone.
That's why I'm saying I don't think we're going to find this kid.
Duped though? What kind of word is that? Dupe.
Well,
He said
that's
dupe.
right up there with, I'm not pervy to anything. That's right up there. He's not pervy. Well, in your earlier days, I hear you were.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's a moron. He's a complete moron.
What do you think, Robin?
He sounds so smart, like he has this big education, and he half of these words he doesn't even know what he's talking about. It's I heard that somewhere, but he screws it up. But he's pervy to everything. The guy is so ridiculous, and you know what? Something in his past, Chris, something happened to him for him to have these issues.
For sure. Well, let me tell you, Robin. Robin, do you remember when he said, I know from experience the difference between abuse and discipline?
Okay. So who beat the shit out of you, Chris?
Right. Who beat the shit out of Chris?
Right. And I do believe when Nina had said he used to have her kids standing in the corner, I believe that's where Sebastian spent half of his time, is standing in a corner when that guy was home. I believe the shit that kid went through in that house is unimaginable.
Me too.
And I do believe that they held it over his head, and you say a word, I'll beat the shit out of you. You think this is bad? Open your mouth and see what else I got. What man goes into a kid's room because they didn't clean it right and picks up everything on the floor and has him bring it to the garbage can? I mean, what are we, in North Korea? Come on.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Robin. Like when my kids were little and they didn't pick it up, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna get the garbage bag, but that's all I'd have to say. And they'd be like, no, and they'd pick it up.
No, exactly. You didn't literally do it, but I mean, okay, you found a way to discipline them, but it wasn't getting rid of all their shit and making them do the shame walk to the garbage can. What are you teaching that kid? That you're an asshole?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what are you teaching that kid? I mean, I'm going to assume this went on when he was 14, 13, 12. What are you teaching a kid? And who demands that you call me Mr. Chris? The guy's got a problem. The guy's got a problem.
For sure. I agree with you. I gave him a whack on the buttocks over the clothes.
The buttocks. Because I'm just telling you this because I want you to be pervy to the information. Right?
Right.
And I'm reading the script and I'm talking to shut my wife up.
Mm-hmm. You're spot on, Robin. You're getting lots of love in chat. Just letting you know.
I'm telling you, this
Robin. Robin, do you want to have a segment on my show every week called Rants with Robin?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. We're going to do it. Wonderful Wednesdays. You can call in every Wednesday.
Be great. Wild and wacky Wednesdays with the boxer shorts and the where's my Proudfoot up my ass trip.
I would love it. You really are. You're amazing. You're spot on, I mean, you really are.
But I'm telling you, the whole thing that made me go sideways with this was, why right out of the gate would you lie where you were at? Because if you're going to lie that you were at St. Jude's moving rocks, when I know it's impossible for you to be, we have an ordinance, 7 to 7 out here. Okay? Now, it's a little different when they're working on the roads, and they don't even do that hardly overnight, unless it's a big project.
Sure.
So I don't know what bullshit he's selling to what peanut gallery, but that didn't happen. So if you're going to lie right out of the gate, this whole thing has to be based on lies. It's insane. Because you're lying right out of the gate. And what do they say about one lie? It just keeps snowballing. And that's why somebody told him to shut his mouth, stay off the TV, stay off the podcast, because you're digging a hole so deep, you're at rock by now.
Robin, I have another question to run by you. See what you think of this.
Sure.
So, you know how the CPS thing, and then we don't think that Chris was home that whole month. Do you really see Chris staying away from his own home that he pays for a whole month?
Absolutely not.
And B, Katie
Absolutely
keeping him away? So do we think that he actually came home?
You know what I see? I see this little bitch parking his truck somewhere, and him laying down in the back of that little Infinity or whatever the hell she drives.
Yeah.
And him popping out like Houdini.
Yes, Robin.
No.
Yes.
Not him. That man.
Yes.
He didn't stay away. There's no way he would give up that control.
No.
There is absolutely no way. He would not stay away. So I don't care how he got in that house. He got in that house. I guarantee it.
Yeah. He's not going to stay away. He is not going to stay away. And I don't think he's going to allow that child to remain in his home when Faith can't come to his home. So in my opinion,
come to his home.
Right.
And he's going to let a 15-year-old autistic kid with a
goofy smile and no personal space limits.
Well, your ass is gonna run me out of my house. Listen, I feed you, kid. I clothe you. And I'm going to be, no, that's exactly how I think it. And I think Chris was absolutely at the end of his rope because nobody knows when he was able to return from CPS. Now, was that a 60-day thing? Was that until they got it resolved? Nobody knows about that. And then with that upcoming hearing, there's no way. There's no way. That Chris he had his hands tied. He knew that something was going to bust out with the hearing with Faith. And if it was that Sebastian was to testify, even if it was for simple questions of his living conditions, there is no way Chris was going to let that cat out of the bag. That man worked too hard to get the control he's got over them. And he wasn't going to let that go. And you think he's going to give all of that up for a 15-year-old
No way.
kid?
No way.
No.
His own flesh and blood? No way.
He's involved in this. I don't think that he's just covering for Katie. He's involved in this. And no different. We have never seen her driving around at 6 in the morning, 6:20, whatever it was. Nobody's ever seen that. Now, at that time, it's getting a little lighter out. Why wouldn't a camera pick her up? Why? Why wouldn't a camera pick her up?
Well, she did say she was driving around, though, that she drove down by the school. So that gives her an out to be driving somewhere.
Well, and on another podcast I heard, she said she woke up at 6, right? Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently Sebastian catches the bus at 6:10. Now, I don't know if that's true.
I didn't know that either.
Like I said, I heard that on a podcast, but I haven't verified it. I don't know the bus route, living rural like that, however they do it or whatever. I mean, is it possible? I don't know. Could he start school at 6:45 or 7? I mean,
maybe.
I guess he could. I've heard stranger things. I mean, I guess he could.
Well, it sounds like they used the 6 a.m. because that's usually when they woke him up. She woke him up.
Right. And, and there's that 10 minutes, if he catches the bus at 6:10, to hide around, and to scare her. Let me get a good scare in before I go catch the bus.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense from beginning to end. I don't care how you want to dice it or slice it. They do one interview, they contradict themselves within that interview or the next one that they do or whatnot. And he's the one that keeps saying, I passed the polygraph, I took it, TBI told me not to take it with Nancy Grace. Nobody's corroborated
Right.
any of this information. It's all him spewing his bullshit. And that's all it is. And the more he gets out there, the more he has people off of the real scent. And that's what I'm saying. Everybody's into this runaway autistic kid. And I'm sorry, I ain't buying what you're selling.
We picked that up. We figured that out, Miss Robin.
Yes, I ain't buying what you're selling. There is no way. This man is too crafty.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone through 4 marriages trying to get this shit done. He's
Right.
on number 5.
Right.
Pretty soon we're going to need a mail-in bride because he's going to run out of women in Hendersonville.
So let me ask you this. Do you think
Yeah.
that they did this? So this is kind of weird, but do you think that maybe he was home that weekend?
I do. I do believe that he snuck in that weekend. I do believe it. I believe enough was enough. It was about a week before this hearing. Enough was enough. He's been thinking about it. It's been eating his asshole out for the last month, and he hasn't been able to be home. And I think he said enough is enough. I ain't doing it. And whatever he's got over Katie's head, he threw that on the table. And he said, it's either this kid or me. Pick your poison.
You could really be onto something there.
I mean, that's just my thoughts, sitting here listening.
A lot of
to
people
different-
in chat agree with you, Robin. Like, they're saying preach. Yes, I agree.
No, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, again, it's just my thoughts thinking out of the box. We've done this runaway for long enough. That's not it. He did not elude the whole state of Tennessee. No, that ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen.
Mm-mm. Well, and
No,
even if
and
he does have people in law enforcement, though, like my sister was a cop, I never had like jurisdiction to, or not jurisdiction, but like just because she was a cop in this town didn't mean in the next town over that I could go kill someone and get away with it.
No.
You know what I mean?
I'm just saying that there was a little bit more influence.
Right. No, you're not saying that, but I think that there's people that think that they're going to get all the TBI and all these people to like cover because he knows somebody in local law enforcement. And
I think her role in this, I think if there was any role that she was meant to play in this was just reinforcing the runaway scenario.
The story.
Right. I think that was just her. They say if you tell a lie long enough, it becomes true. Mm-hmm. And I think that was her job, to just reinforce it, regardless of who she talked to, where she dropped it, or whatever. We got, Mary Jane, Officer Mary Jane with the canine unit, that's his sister. We worked with her for how many years? Why would she lie? Well, of course we want to help that family. And from what I understand, they're pretty big donators to that, Sumner County. And don't they say money talks and bullshit walks?
Yeah, but the FBI being involved in the TBI, that goes above those local yokels.
No, and they do. And that's why I think the noose is getting a little bit tighter. And I think that's where we're going to start seeing Chris come a little unafraid here. And that's why he's trying to lure in Seth, and he's trying to run the narrative or whatever. Like I said, that crematory thing is a long shot. It does involve other people, but the key people it would involve is, again, his mother, which that's why I don't find it a complete long shot. I find it may be an avenue that should be checked to see what happened within the few days of him being missing, what cremations were held, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And stuff. I'm not saying that that's it. it certainly is a possibility. They've all acted crazier than a $3 bill.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think they have a lot
mean,
to hide, Robin. I think they have a lot of dirty secrets.
And there's a lot of skeletons, yes.
Yes, that they don't want to get out to the public.
Like Christmas. No.
Exactly.
It would be, yeah. No, and I do think that's it. And I think that's why Chris is feeling the pressure. And I think maybe he might be rethinking it just a tad. And that's why we're luring Seth in. But he's still too confident. And that's what makes me think we're not going to find this kid. They are not people that even if something nefarious happened, they didn't know it was a done deal, signed, sealed, delivered with Stevie Wonder's autograph on it. That's how confident they are, and they're acting. That this will never be resolved, at least with a body. Now, where they go, we all know that people have been prosecuted without a body, you know, and it just takes a little bit longer and a lot more digging and putting a lot more pieces together, but you don't have to have a body.
No,
but
you don't.
They do walk around like they're very confident that this body isn't going to surface, so to speak.
They're very confident.
They are.
So either they know
point.
that, so it's got to be like one extreme or the other. Either they know he's not going to be found, or they know that he going to come back.
Right. And either way, they had to have had something to do with it, because you cannot have that kind of confidence on a runaway.
They're very calm.
That this kid is gone, and wow, we finally get to live our best lives. No, it doesn't work.
I mean, I think that, you know, if you listen to even one podcast with them on it, the one where he says he was Houdini and he always wanted to be a ninja, and then he said, because poof, gone.
Poof. And
yeah, I mean, you don't describe a runaway as
no, and
poof,
if you really listen
gone.
to how he articulates certain things, he's leaving clues. He doesn't realize it, but he's leaving clues in his assumption of making us pervy to the things that are going on with this case.
Right.
And, you know, these stupid little words that he drops that it's like, now, why would he use that to summarize what's going on? Or why would he say that? Because, you know, they say the subconscious is a tricky little fella.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, sometimes he says things and he doesn't realize it, but then he tries to backtrack and scoop it up and clear it up. Because, you know, I just want to make it crystal clear.
Crystal clear. Poof. Gone.
Yeah, crystal clear. Crystal. No, I think the guy's a clown show. I think he's a complete idiot. I think he talks out of his Proudfoot ass. And I think sooner or later, this house of cards is going to come crumbling down on Mr. Chris. Mm-hmm. One way or another. I have full faith that God will serve justice on this. We just have to be patient with it.
I think you're right, Robin.
It's sad to say, he's not coming home. He's not. And it's very sad to say, but we have to start being realistic with this, because if we don't get on the pathway of being realistic with this, all of these other things are going to blind us and distort us in seeing what the real truth is.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's very
awful.
sad. It is, and it's at the hands of those two people. Those are the two people that initiated this nightmare and this catastrophe.
Yep. Well, hopefully Seth gets some answers, but
well, I think that's why Chris is so out of his mind that Seth brought this private eye in.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
Chris has no control, and that's why he's losing his mind.
Yep. So that's the change of heart. Hey, we want to mend fences or whatever, because they don't know what this private eye is going to be talking to Seth about. And if Seth isn't talking about it online, they're not going to know what's going on.
Well, and not only that, if I understood correctly, for some reason, I want to say that this private eye assistant is based in northern Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken.
She said she was. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you see, that's what I brought up.
Yeah.
About why they had the shiny ball syndrome about Mississippi and getting back there. Why did Katie have to go with them? She's got to hold Chris's dick so he can go to work?
Yeah.
Come on. There's something, a piece of the puzzle lies there. A piece of the puzzle lies there. What it is, I don't know. But for them to be so fixated on that RV park is ridiculous. He could have left that thing there for a month. Nobody was going to bother it.
Right.
Nobody was going to bother it. He didn't have to go there and immediately get it. Why? Why did they have to go there? He said they checked the RV when him and Katie, when they left and everything. But again, that's him saying it. With everybody that he has, JLR, he has people in the neighborhood or whatever that he talks to. I haven't seen on any of his that anybody sent a picture, oh, look it. Sumner County TBI, somebody's going through the RV. You would think that would have been plastered all over.
Yeah. I'm
right?
actually, yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. This shit that he is throwing out is just to detour from what is really going on.
Mm-hmm. Deflecting.
And with her saying, with her within not even a week of him missing and them leaving, my son could be anywhere. What makes you think he would be already 200 miles away in 15 minutes from where your husband works? What would make you think that?
Mm-hmm. Good question.
I mean, it's not like he headed to Chattanooga or Knoxville. Why would she go? Why? Why would she go to South Haven, Mississippi?
Because he didn't want her talking to anybody. I think because he wanted to know who she was talking to and what she was saying.
Well, and that very well could
Why
be.
did they let Olivia in their home? Wasn't that weird? That she managed to get inside the home and do the interview?
You know what?
Because they showed their hands. Remember, the first one was the hand interview.
Yeah.
Couldn't show their faces.
Yeah, no. Shh. No faces. No faces. Because it'll be a threat if people see what assholes we are. We can only show the arms. No, you know what? I think in the beginning, I think Chris was so hell-bent on getting his story and his narrative out that he didn't fully think that through. He didn't think that would come back to haunt him. He was so... He wanted to get his narrative and he wanted to direct this that he didn't fully think that, shit, this shit is on camera and it's taped. It can come back to haunt me. He can't backtrack on any of that shit that he said.
Right.
Just to make it crystal clear.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
I think in the beginning, so many things were going on, and that's why I'm saying there were so many players and so many entities in this that it had his head spinning, and all he wanted to do was get it out. We're good parents, we feed them, blah, 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 this and that, all of that, under the car, blah, blah, blah. And how do they say that he wasn't a runner? Yet they say he would leave and wander the neighborhood and whatnot. So,
dude, Robin, we did some mapping from the dispatch, and there was a man that they spoke to that lived on, and I can't remember the name. Potato will probably remember it, but anyways, it was like 2 streets over from them, but you literally would have to like walk down to the main road or cut through yards, which he probably did. But anyways, it was 2 streets over, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen that child walk by, but not lately."
So we've already established
that
he's left and he's been unattended for. And I just can't believe, I mean, okay, I can see it during the day, okay? But I cannot believe that this kid in the middle of the night with a little keychain flashlight, that's where he went ahead and planned his escape. No, it doesn't make any sense. I don't believe that kid would have been confident enough to walk around the block alone at that time of night with no street lights dark like that. I don't think so. And I still want to know why this mattress is in the garage.
Me too.
Can
we talk about the mattress, Robin? Can we talk about the mattress?
Let's talk about the mattress.
Mm-hmm. So why do you think that there's a mattress? Because he said that it was just given to him.
It was just given to him.
Isn't that what he said?
And then, yes, it was just given to him. Even though he hasn't been home in a month, it was just because, you know, in my neighborhood, there's so many people that ride around with truckloads of mattresses with free signs, just beep and stop us.
Mm-hmm. And you just always take hand-me-down mattresses from just anybody.
To give to your daughter that you plan on having move in with you. Right. No, and let's go back to why haven't we heard anything about these garbage men outside of this garbage was it was heavier than usual.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a clue card. What was in that garbage? What? We have this mattress that is ridiculous. Why would you even keep a mattress in your garage if you plan on bringing it in, even if it's brand new?
Mm-hmm.
If you plan on bringing it in your house and sleeping on it, why would you store it for one in the garage? Then we have the garbage that apparently was heavy enough that these garbage men were like, what the fuck is going on here? Now I got a workman's comp because I got a hernia from the Proudfoot garbage.
Right.
And that's never happened.
Mm-hmm.
But then the landfill catches on fire where said garbage went to. We have all this nonsense going on, and none of this warrants a current update from TBI, Sumner County, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that Nick Beers or whatever, that reporter, we seem to have shut him up real quick, haven't we?
Yeah.
Right? Okay,
what happened with that?
Well, my whole thing is Chris Proudfoot didn't shut him up. Katie didn't shut him up. So the authorities had to shut him up. Why?
Well, he did leak that video. The flashlight video.
Okay,
but I don't know if that was given to him. He said it was a source in LE.
Okay, but all right. So he has this video. We're saying that it's the lights of the garbage truck. But all right, we explained that away for whoever wants to choke that down. But now, why can't we have We have no explanation for subject 1 and subject 2.
Right. None.
Okay?
Mm-mm.
None. And nobody's ever clarified that. Nobody wants to touch that with a 10-foot pole.
No, they don't.
Let alone two 5-foot poles.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to touch that.
Mm-hmm.
So again, there is something that is going on, and I have a feeling when they interviewed when Nick Barris interviewed that law enforcement guy, the younger guy with the dark hair.
Uh-huh. The deputy sheriff guy.
I have a feeling Chris is friends with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You think so?
Yes, I do.
I kind of like him.
I kind of like him too.
Robin, I don't like if he's, I don't know.
But for some reason, I have a feeling that's who Chris called.
Interesting. And he seemed to really think that Sebastian was on the run, didn't he?
Well, he did. But again, let's go back to the beginning. You got Chris on the phone running the narrative.
Sure.
You got Katie on cue because she's a mess. So I'm sure if they're friends, why wouldn't you believe your friend? Why wouldn't you believe it? From what you know, for face value, he's in Memphis working. This autistic kid got out. They don't know where he's at. It's early in the dawn morning hours. Why wouldn't you believe him? Right at face value, you would have no reason. But as the days have gone on, maybe that's become less and less. And maybe that's why Barney Fife ain't doing any more conferences on this. And they're not letting any more out of the bag. I think they all have come to the summation that I think enough cats are running around out of this bag right now. We can't lure this in.
Right.
And if there are other entities involved, it's a matter of time. They can't control TBI, the FBI. They can't.
No, they can't. Absolutely not.
And I don't think Chris thought that this would explode into what it did. That's where he miscalculated. I think he thought that this would stay in the Henderson area and not go any farther. And he didn't anticipate this exploding worldwide.
Oh, hell no.
That was a miscalculation on his part. And again, that's why I feel he was running rampant on doing all these interviews and getting the story out, because all of a sudden Nancy Grace is knocking on your door, Olivia's there. Everybody wants to know. And, you know, they say loose lips sink ships.
Got that right, Robin.
Right?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just it. And this guy right now, he's clawing his way up because he knows it's sinking.
Yeah, that's why they've shut up.
It is. And that's why they're luring Seth in. Right now, Seth is the one that they can't control. And before, they didn't need to control him because Seth was just the one running around, you know, searching this and that. He was preoccupied. But now that he has somebody that's working for him, that has the ability to dig deeper, that has the ability to go ahead.
Now he's scared and he's got no control over it.
Absolutely. She can get, you know, the transcripts of certain phone calls and what's going on, you know, and the freedom of information. I don't think Seth on his own, he has the ability to even do any of that. At this point, I don't even know that he can make a phone call on his own. So now that there's a third party involved, that she will not answer one thing to Chris has to get the information one way or another. Pretty soon, Seth will be having dinner with them. Because that's what Chris is uneasy about. Shut your mouth. Don't tell her anything. Let the authorities do it. Whatever he has control of is where he's going to steer Seth. And everybody's all up in arms about this GoFundMe, which I can tell you I am too. Because no matter what, this GoFundMe was set up for Sebastian. Am I right?
Yes.
To help with the investigation and whatnot.
Yes.
Do you think we could throw a couple of dollars towards the reward for this kid?
I wondered that as well. I said that last night. I was like, why isn't any of that money going towards the reward to get, you know, if someone knows something, Because I don't think anybody knows anything. Because nobody knows anything. The only person that's going to be able to collect the damn reward is Katie.
Well, Katie, too, and let's go to this dispute on, does she have an insurance policy? Because them screaming Seth has one, he does. And he has a Gerber life insurance policy that's usually taken out at birth, okay?
Yes.
At home. And the most they usually pay out,
is 10 grand.
Heard of one. Yeah, I've never heard of one over $10,000. And I'm not necessarily sure that they pay out on a missing person. That might be just like their stipulations, you know, with some don't pay out with suicide, this, that. I don't know if that Gerber pays out on a missing
I wouldn't
person.
be too concerned about a Gerber grow-up plan. I mean, those are basically... They're making.
They concentrated on making sure everyone knows Seth has one. Well, does Katie and Chris?
Well, I think it's okay. I'm going to say something about Seth having one. I think it's bizarre because he was homeless for a while. How was he able to continue paying the premium on a Gerber grow-up plan when he didn't even have a place to live?
Well, it depends. How long do you pay for those till they so-called mature and you don't pay into them?
You know, I don't know. My parents got them for my kids. And then when they turned 18, they cashed in them for something. I think it was a couple grand. But
and my nephew had one, but I don't know how long.
It just seems odd to me that, I don't know. But you get those little flyers when you bring your baby home and you sign up for shit and then they mail you shit. So, yeah.
Right. All of a sudden, you got Infamil out the ass, and you got Pampers, and you got Gerber, and you, right.
Yeah.
Right. You get that whole little packet when you come home.
Yeah.
No, I don't find that, I don't even think that, why that would be brought up is just ridiculous to me, because what bearing does that Gerber policy have on this? Now, the GoFundMe, yeah, I think a spotlight should be on that, because what he's accumulated in that isn't that much less than what that guy makes in a year. Now, since Easter, he's become pretty lax on his searches. So, and they say he's a little bit of a drinker himself. So, I mean, I think all in our lifetime, we've all had an instance, or most of us, where we've been on some type of opioid. I get that. But I've heard him where he's slurring, can't keep a thought in his head or whatnot. So now is he becoming the couch potato that's using the excuse he has his meds, and he's sitting at home taking his meds and drinking, and that's why he hired the PI?
I don't know. But I have a question that came through a super chat for you, Miss Robin. Okay. She look at her. She's like, I'm ready for it. Give it to me.
Okay.
All right. So it's from Nosy as Fuck. Thank you so much, Nosy. I love your name. What does Robin think about Chris telling Seth the public would stop searching for Sebastian after the public finds out about the essay? Remember, he's kind of that was a little bit of blackmail, right? That was us.
That's exactly what I think. I think that's just him strong-arming him. And I think that's a type of blackmail that Chris is okay throwing out there, because that's been out there. So that's not a secret. Why Seth would fall for that, I don't know, because, I mean, for me, that's public knowledge. You're not telling me something I don't know. Do I need the gritty details of it? No, I don't. I can wrap my head around what possibly could have happened. So that, again, I just think it's a form of control. And like I said, I think the noose is getting a little tight. Mr. Chris is getting a little sloppy, and now he's running around half-cocked. And he's making threats that I don't necessarily think it means anything to anybody. All right. Well, you know what? We'll deal with that after we find this kid. I don't think it's in the top 10, let alone the top 3 of anything relevant to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I just think that that's his form of his sadistic behavior of controlling people and thinking he's getting them where it hurts. And to Seth, I'd poke him in his eyes and laugh at him and tell him to get his clown ass out of here.
Okay, well, listen, Justice Jane kind of agrees with you here. She says, my God, they are suspects in a 15-year-old missing son case. They don't deserve donations. Sebastian should have that money in his reward fund, not in their pockets, in my opinion. What do you think of Justice Jane?
I
agree.
Absolutely agree with her. And anything that's left, I think should be put in a trust for a college fund or anything that happens after he's 18 and he can rightfully have that money.
Yeah. It gets dirty when you start these GoFundMes every single time.
Well, you know what? It starts to get dirty because I think that money mounts up so quickly in the beginning that if you look at someone that we've established was homeless living out of their car,
mm-hmm.
$30,000 is a shitload of money to that guy. It's a shitload of money. Now, okay, he's spending some of this, I assume, with the PI, but he better be careful with that money because I think the fuck you comment that he made,
mm-hmm.
I think that's going to really hurt this.
Mm.
I think that's really going to hurt this because you know what? What's said is said. You don't unhear something you heard. You can give excuses all day long, but you said what you said. And now you've been kind of lying low with the podcast, but now, what did Chris tell you? You better go clean up that mess because you pissed off a lot of people? Or is Chris good with that because look at, what did we do? Whatever Chris said to Seth got him so jacked up, he said, fuck you to pretty much the world indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
So what did that do? It took the heat off of Katie and Chris.
Sure did,
now
didn't it?
Everybody's focused on Seth.
Yeah.
Right? Another control tactic.
Yeah. Throw glitter on it has another comment about the money thing. She says, don't forget his Cash App too. None of the funds lead back to Seth. Seems a bit off too. He's making more than his annual salary. So the Cash App is in a friend's name. And apparently the GoFundMe was started by his sister. So none of this trails to him. But I find it to be weird that people are just Cash Apping some rando. Like he could make his own Cash App really easily, but why not?
But that's how gullible people are. Look at how some people get a cold call and it's like, oh, you want my name, my address, my social security? I mean, people fall for that shit all day. Now go ahead and take a 15-year-old autistic kid that's missing. You're playing on the heartstrings of people. And they're hoping that their donations are going for something good. Now, with it being in a friend's name, well, okay. Now we just know it's not tracked through Seth. So is that Seth's little side gig? Because what's keeping him afloat? He's not working. What's keeping him afloat?
The money coming in.
But that's just it. And I get it, but, I mean, if this kid isn't found in 6 months, what are we still all going to be supporting him? Or is that why he's been so tight on the purse strings with spending the money?
Good point.
Because he's using it to live on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the whole thing. Like I said, the PI is just in recent days. It's not like she's been on this for, a month. And it's like, okay, those bills are piling up. And who knows? I mean, this PI, she seems like a very nice woman. She seems like she has a heart of gold. Is she charging him to cross every I or cross every T and dot every I? I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's not like we have an accountant going ahead and showing us everything that's being spent with this. And we all know GoFundMe accounts, they've been used for other things than what they're intended for.
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course. I mean GoFundMe's, I never donate to GoFundMe's. I'm not going to lie. I don't donate to those.
I don't donate either because that's like the Red Cross, UNICEF, out of every dollar, 10 cents goes to them and 90 cents goes to the overhead. That's like Girl Scout cookies. Give them $2. They make more with that than buying the cookies.
Right. Well, I think that's why he had the Cash App, but I just don't understand why he didn't just make his own and hook it to his own bank. I mean,
well,
it just
only that.
Seems like a lot of money to funnel through people,
Well, it seems to me a little bit odd that you would have said friend go ahead and set up a Cash App. And why wouldn't you have your sister do it that sent up the GoFundMe? So who's this friend? Who's this friend? And
who's the friend? Because because if that friend's going to be taking Cash Apps for him, wouldn't that friend be there with him at the vigils or searching and stuff?
I'm going to throw this out there. What if the Cash App what if that money goes to Chris and Katie? Maybe that's how we got the money for the new motorcycle.
Or did they mend fences by saying, I'll give you some of the GoFundMe money?
That could be.
I don't know why they were at this Harley place and with Sebastian shirts on. It rubs me the wrong way.
Well, you go to a Harley place with the Sebastian shirts on. You want to know what I think? I think that was just manipulation. You see these two people coming in with the Sebastian shirts. Oh, you're the parents? I think Chris was looking for a deal and playing on the sympathy. That's what I think. That's what I think. But you go to a Harley dealer with Sebastian shirts on, yet you do an interview with a Harley shirt on. Okay? I mean, who's got the chromosome deficit here?
My God, Robin.
Right? She's sitting there in a Harley Davidson shirt. Well, how long ago was that interview? And how long have they been shopping for this Harley Davidson?
Right. Well, Chris already has one, I think. I think he already owns a bike.
Well, ride with the wind, my friend.
Were they trying to get a deal?
Well, they could have been trading the old one in and, upgrading.
Mm-hmm.
But
people keep saying, they were setting up a run for Sebastian. You know what that is? Money. You set up a run to raise money for something. Like if you need pay for something. But where's a run? Where's all the bikers been? They don't just show up for one day. If he's got biker buddies, they would be there. I think these two are biker wannabes.
Oh,
come on. This dude's got panty lines, Robin. I mean, let's talk about this. He has panty lines in this picture. He's not.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, let's talk about the run. So we're going to organize a run.
Yeah.
And then didn't they say that they were going to organize a vigil in 2 weeks?
2 weeks, yes. Seth said, we're planning a vigil in 2 weeks together.
Okay, now, I'm sure that's something Chris prompted him to say, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe that Seth would say, while we're at this vigil, this is on the top of my mind or whatever. And see, this goes back to what I said in the beginning. You would think the normal terminology for it would be God forbid Sebastian isn't found. We're planning on something in 2 weeks. But the confidence in saying we're going to plan a vigil in 2 weeks, we're going to have a run somewhere in the future. You're making plans like you're confident that he's not going to be found. Just in your terminology and what you're saying. That's just like when he was explaining Sebastian going out the bedroom window. He kind of screwed up when he said that night, when they asked if Sebastian went out the window, his bedroom window that night, what was Chris's answer? We would have heard him. Really? I thought you weren't there. He didn't say, well, his mother would have heard him. He said, we would have heard him. And that's why I'm saying, sometimes it takes going through those interviews a couple of times because, it's like watching a movie. You see it for the first time. The second time you start to see little details. The third time, and you've watched a movie so much, you can almost go ahead and recite all of the lines from it.
Absolutely.
And that was the whole thing. We would have heard him. He didn't say his mother would have heard him. He said we would have heard him. And that's why I'm saying, you see how the subconscious is a little tricky motherfucker?
Yeah, that's why they stopped talking. He thought he was smarter than all of us because he's got that narcissistic trait about him where he thinks he can dupe everybody.
Well, in his world, I'm sorry to say, but he's been the smartest and he's been able to manipulate. And, part of that could have been whatever training he had in the Navy or whatever and the mindset. You don't know what he went through with that.
Robin, I have a bombshell in chat, and I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but I noticed that Seth has a wrap on his truck, like on the door and on the side of it. Did you notice that?
I did. That white truck, when Chris was all up in his face.
Yeah, so apparently that's an attorney ad on the side of his truck.
Okay.
Where does your mind go with that?
My mind goes with that is, out here in Memphis, every MATA bus has Morgan and Morgan on it, okay? I think that's free advertising. I think that kind of goes now into my suspicion with this PI that is Seth paying the PI. And again, I don't want to put any disrespect to her at all, but
none taken.
Is this attorney paying for the PI for all of this advertisement now?
Dude, I don't know. I think it's wild that he has it's been on his truck since day one, they say. The fuck?
Okay, but, and again, why? You have to look at what does somebody get out of it? So from day one, and wrapping a car, isn't like $100.
Right.
I mean, it costs a couple of bucks to do that, okay?
Right.
So you have to go into the mindset of what is to be gained by this. Now, to go ahead and wrap your truck with an attorney, you have to be getting something out of it because why would that supersede you wrapping your truck with your son? Right?
Right.
Because if you wrapped your truck with your son, you would have to pay for it. Now, I wouldn't have any qualms if he took the money out of the GoFundMe to wrap his truck with his kid. I mean, would it be money well spent? I mean, I guess that's, who you ask. But for him to do that, okay, he did that. But now I'm assuming that attorney's place, I'm sure they paid for that wrap. So what is Seth getting out of it? That's the question. What is he getting out of it?
I don't know.
He has to be getting something out of it.
I mean, people pay for raps, but like, was he doing this before Sebastian went missing as like a means for extra money? He could have been doing it. I mean, I don't know. I never saw his truck before. I was actually surprised he had such a new truck. Those are expensive.
Well, no, and he could have been. I'll agree with you. He could have been. But again, we're going to go back to coincidences like the garage light being out and all those things, that out of all the things you could wrap your truck in, it just happens to be an attorney's office, and now your kid's missing?
I don't know, Robin. I don't know.
But I mean, that's just it. They're $1 million questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to argue. He could have had that.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't understand. Like, he goes on these shows and it's just a bunch of bullshit. No one asks these questions.
Well, it is. And sometimes I'm not sure that some of these podcasters, in order to get Seth on, that these are predetermined questions and there's parameters.
Probably.
And again, I don't think that Seth's the brightest bulb. So now, if somebody would lay parameters in an interview that you do, isn't that usually something an attorney would advise you on?
Yeah. No Hate Here says, praying for Seth. I truly feel sorry for him after all these wild accusations. Wow. Now, No Hate Here. You know who I feel sorry for? Sebastian. That's who I feel fucking sorry for.
That's who I feel.
Give me a fucking break. Grown-ass men. Grown-ass man.
They are. And you know what? No, I don't feel sorry for Seth. Because you know what? I think there were plenty of opportunities to nip this in the bud all along. And he just didn't. Because if some of these things were going on, why didn't Seth file in court? Why didn't Seth bring it up with Katie and Mr. Chris and let them know he was privy to what was going on in that house? You cannot tell me that this kid did not say something. If he was going to be a supposed witness in the upcoming hearing, I'm sure there were some things he divulged to his father, if we're to believe he's the one he trusted the most out of everyone. And if he said he didn't want to go back that last visit. So again, I put Seth into question.
Dude, as parents, it's our job to protect our kids, whether the kid lives with us full time or not. Why are we giving this guy a free pass to ignore fucking abuse? Why?
Well, and that's just it. Why?
Why?
Because
he's the lesser of the two fucking evils? No,
yes,
I don't see it that way. No, man, no.
Well, let me find out to him. The father's searching. Oh, well, superb individual. And yes, it is our job to protect our kids. And if I was walking down the street and I saw somebody beating the shit out of a kid, you're sure as damn hell I'd step in, whether it was my kid or not. It is our job to protect
our
people
children
that cannot protect themselves, including animals. And again, I got a feeling he's abusive to those animals in that house. And that's why those aren't bite marks from those animals.
Yeah.
That is from a tussle with that kid. And he was home that weekend. Again, a coincidence?
Right.
He just happened. Yeah, you're going to run home from Memphis and play with the dogs.
Yeah, right. He didn't like those dogs.
No.
He didn't like those
and
dogs.
I think the only reason why he had those dogs was to shut Katie up.
Oh, sure. He had to give in, every now and then.
Right. Right. And it could have been after
Did
he
you
beat
notice? Did you notice the hand interview? The dogs are barking, the ones that Katie said don't bark. Well, they were barking while they were talking, and he went, shh, with like this harsh, like, shh. And I can tell you right now, those dogs get on his damn nerves, because I was married to someone not quite as bad as Chris, but he was a dick. And I had Yorkies, and he did not like my little yapping dogs. So let me tell you from experience, he wasn't playing with those fucking dogs.
No, and that very well, the reason why she could have gotten those dogs is it could have been the time he was overbearing, whether it was beating the shit out of her, Sebastian, and that was the I'm sorry prize.
Yes.
Because the flowers weren't working anymore.
Yes. You can get your puppy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's exactly what I think.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Because, he doesn't seem that he's the nurturing kind.
Mm-hmm.
That he wants anything around that's going to screw up his agenda. Whether it's bike riding for the weekend, going to dinner, he doesn't want to be responsible for anything, including Sebastian. And I think he was done with that. He was done. Him being out of that house the month of February was the straw that broke the camel's back. He was done. Yep. And I can only imagine what happened in that house when they told him he had to be gone.
Huh. So do you think it was planned then? Or do you
I
just...
do. I think they were... absolutely.
Why wouldn't they just give him to Seth, though?
Because you know what? I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think Seth really has the capability to have this kid full time. I really don't. I really don't. I don't think he has the means to do it. And if he's working those overnight hours, what is he going to do with this kid?
I agree.
Like he's a 9-to-5er. So again, like I said, I don't feel sorry for Seth because I'm sure there were indications that he could have stopped a lot of this. I'm not saying that he doesn't love his son. And he doesn't.
And we're not even saying that maybe he doesn't even realize that now. I mean, he may have that realization and it may just, have killed him inside. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know.
Right.
Because we never think the worst is going to happen, right? I mean, I'm not giving the guy an excuse for ignoring abuse. If he knew that this bastard was swatting his kid's ass with a belt or with his hand or with anything, no.
No, and I don't think that Seth is, I don't think he's that strong of a person, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think in normal life, I don't think Seth walks around and is full-blown even sticking up for himself. Mm-hmm. And the way Chris acts, I mean, I think it would be enough for Chris to say, listen, you're not going to fucking tell me what to do in my house. You're not going to tell me how to treat this kid. You're not going to tell me anything that goes on in the four walls of my house. And he's exaggerating. He's pissed. He missed his meds yesterday. I'm sure there have been excuses, and Seth has just sucked it up, turned his back, and I'll see you, in 2 weeks. But I don't think he had the means to take him on full time. I don't.
Maybe not. And maybe that's why they were giving it another year to get him. I mean, I don't even know when Seth moved to Tennessee from California. I don't know how he got the job in Nashville. Like, I'm hearing that Chris's dad is a cop in Nashville. Did they get Seth his job? Did they want him to move closer? I mean, why has no one asked? Like, hey, Seth, tell me about your life with Katie from the beginning. Tell me how you met.
But again, that's another form of blackmail.
But why aren't we getting their life, like their story? Like, why aren't we hearing, like, tell me about the day Sebastian was born. Like, what was that like? Like, tell me about the day you guys brought him home. Tell me about, his first months, when he started crawling, no one has talked about this kid. They're talking about the bullshit behind the adults with the kid. I want to know about Sebastian.
But that's what makes me think that after that Nancy Grace interview, that's what makes me think all parties have parameters put around them. And that's what makes me think, okay, maybe Seth, maybe that attorney is advising him. Did he retain him? I don't know. It could be. But again, having the attorney wrapped around his truck, again, is questionable. You've got to be getting some type of compensation for that. Some type. And again, out of all the companies and everything in this world, it happens to be an attorney? An attorney?
I know it's...
Come on. Again, it's a little soft with it. I mean, you just, call me crazy, but again, it's a little soft with it.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with getting Seth the job, that could be part of the blackmail. Now Chris has him under his thumb.
Right.
And that's how people like him work. They go ahead. They're very persistent till they have everything the way they want. And he has them under his thumb somehow because he shut him up. That confrontation, he shut him up. Seth came out, said, fuck you to the world, and whatever. So there's something Chris has over him.
Oh, I agree.
Nobody asks these questions.
Well, I mean, from reading their divorce paperwork and that stuff that was put in there, there's a lot of weird shit in their past, in my opinion.
There is, and that's why I don't think that Chris, being the way he is that much out of Katie's norm in guys that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the attributes she looks for. I don't think that, Chris being domineering, controlling, I think that's been the way it is. I mean, I think it's a lot more jacked up with Chris, but I think like with Nina, what she said, in the beginning it was okay. They got married and it started unraveling and coming out of control. Because once a narcissist, controlling person has their grips in you, then they run wild. Then you see the true colors.
Kelly, hang on one second, Robin. Kelly, Sebastian was 15 years old, so they wouldn't really need to get CPS and all that for Seth to get custody if he was being abused. They can question Sebastian himself. He's old enough to say what's being done to him.
And see, she just hit the nail on the head. This whole thing, that's exactly why I think it was pre-planned. Because now Sebastian's coming of age where they can't shut him up. He's getting older. He's going to talk. And that's the whole thing. No, they don't need CPS. All he would have to do is go in and file an emergency for an emergency hearing regarding custody. He wouldn't have to go ahead and get CPS.
Right.
The court might go ahead and have CPS follow up on the accusations, but it wouldn't take a few bucks a signature and filing a paper to have an emergency hearing.
Right.
So no, and that's why I'm saying his lack of parenting and maybe seeing these red flags, there has to be a little bit more to it, because no parent in their right mind, even if you just heard it in passing or in a conversation over dinner with your kid, why would you not bring it up with Biomom?
Right.
And say, listen, I was talking to Sebastian, blah, 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 blah.
I just want to say something to chat. To Harley, I guess it is. Or I don't know who it is that said that. But anyways, what I was going to say is that it wasn't just about the belt that was abuse. Do you not remember that he was wearing only fucking pull-ups? And he's 15? This isn't just about a belt beating. This is about a lot of other things.
No, and that's it. And people right away, they hear abuse and they're always drawn to physical. No, mental.
I mean, no, they're saying that Seth didn't. No,
emotional.
they're saying Seth didn't know about the belt stuff. Well, he knew that his kid came there in a fucking pull-up and was wearing a pull-up and didn't have underwear to his accessibility at home, per Seth.
Right, because
that's abuse. Sorry.
Wasn't Seth's comment or reply to that? Wasn't his comment we don't wear those here, go put boxer shorts on?
Yes.
Isn't that what he said?
Yes.
Okay. So again, I'll give the guy a little leeway because I can't imagine the situation that he's in, nor would I ever want to. But these things were happening before this kid disappeared.
Yes. No underwear allowed in home, he said. Only pull-ups. Okay. And that a pull-up would be there and he had to return home in a pull-up.
So now, this kid, he had to go to school. And he had to go to gym class and change into his gym clothes wearing a pull-up.
A fucking pull-up. Can you imagine?
And from what Chris and Katie say, no, he never got hassled at work. At school. Really? I don't know. Kids these days, they're as evil as the day is long. And not one kid ever said anything. I call bullshit.
Oh, and let's also not forget that he admitted that Sebastian was SA'd on their watch.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So there's pull-ups, not allowed to have undies. He has to wear pull-ups. Okay. And we know that he was SA'd under Chris and Katie's watch.
Okay, and my comment to that is imagine what happened that we don't know about.
Exactly. And this is shit that Chris Proudfoot sat there on podcasts and had no qualms about saying, I swatted him with a belt. He doesn't think that's abnormal. In his world,
that's very proud of it.
Yes.
Very proud of it.
Very proud of it. As a matter of fact, he compared it to, trust me, I know the difference between abuse and discipline. He's got no business disciplining his stepson in that manner who is developmentally disabled. That's all I'm going to say.
She has no business allowing it. She has no business allowing it.
Absolutely.
And his comment with that goes back to what I said. Whatever is in Chris is past in his upbringing all goes to the philosophy of the things he's willing to say as far as being reprimanded or whatnot in that house. And I think that's the reason why the mother, Chris's mother, is so overbearing, covering up for his shit, picking up the pieces, is because she's guilt-ridden.
She feels bad, yeah. She feels bad.
And that's why I'm saying I don't know how far she would go to cover his ass. Because if she doesn't, then we got Chris opening his mouth about her. Trust me, he's got shit about everyone in his life.
Yes, that's how he operates.
Yep.
He holds shit over your head.
That's why everybody, so to speak, listens to Chris. But it's going to go outside of that circle sooner or later. Mm-hmm. He cannot cover the world. And hopefully soon there's somebody that has some brains about them. And I'm hoping it's this private investigator that uncovers something, because I would like to see her independently get their phone records. I would like to see her subpoena when he clocked in and clocked out at work. I would like to see if there is a long-standing of them talking 3 hours. I can't imagine them talking 3 hours on the phone.
No.
I can't.
No.
The only way I could see them being on the phone for 3 hours if there was cameras in that house and Chris was overseeing what happened.
Let me tell you, I think he either had the cameras, or he had an open line, so he knew what was going on, and if Sebastian was giving her a hard time, he handled it via the phone.
Yep.
And that's why he worked with one earbud in so he could hear what the freak was going on at that house. And I'm telling you, at 9 o'clock when she told him to go to bed, and he didn't. And then Mr. Chris stepped in. Now, how do we know that Mr. Chris didn't get so damn mad that he had fucking had it and he drove home? What if he wasn't at home, but he drove home? I'm going to fucking handle this once and for all.
He very well could have. That's why I'm not so sure that they didn't have burner phones. And that because this, I do believe it was pre-planned. I do believe that burner phones were purchased. I do believe that they very well might be burned in said landfill. I think those burner phones are gone. They served their purpose. And if you think about it, if this shit started at 9, okay, well, something very well could have happened. And they got that kid out of that house from 9 to 6 in the morning. That is more than enough time to go from Memphis to Nashville and back.
Well, yeah, I mean, because there's truth in the lies, right?
Yeah,
then,
absolutely.
Like her saying 9 o'clock and then the 10 o'clock thud.
Right.
I think that there's some truth in that. I think that it was a thud. The question is, from what? Now let me ask you this. I want to go back to the mattress in the garage with you, Robin, for a minute. Okay. So let's go back to the garage. We have a mattress. Let's say hypothetically that Sebastian would have to, if he didn't calm down, she'd just lock him in the in the garage and put a mattress out there so that he could just crash when he got done with his fit. And there's nothing he can.
With you on that.
Yeah, like there's nothing he can really break. Yeah, it's nothing he can really break. You don't have to worry about him punching drywall, in his room, things like that. So you lock him in the garage, and there's a mattress so he can crash out when he comes down from his episode. I know this is a sick thought, but I thought of when Nancy Grace asked, why was there a mattress in the garage? And then she asked Katie Proudfoot, where was your car parked? And I thought of that car being started and Sebastian being in the garage.
I agree with you.
With the doors closed. And then Katie hearing a thump.
And it wasn't in the bedroom.
Right.
No, I agree with you.
I don't know. I mean,
absolutely a possibility. But not only that, said mattress, now don't forget, they have the 2-car garage and they have the 1-car garage. Now, was that 1-car garage, was that separated by a wall, or did all 3 spaces go together? Because if it was separated by a wall, was that his little torture chamber, and that's why he didn't have the codes to the garage and only the front door?
Right. And then she says, I don't know why he went out that door.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how he got out that door.
Okay. And not only that, if he was in that 3rd-car garage, I would assume that the 2-car garage would be the one that would have the door to the entrance to the home. I can't imagine that 3rd car would. So if there's a wall up, you're just talking a basic garage with 4 doors. Where more convenient would it be to throw a mattress in there?
Yeah.
And throw that kid in there when he's having his fits?
Yes.
Or that's where he was sleeping.
Tim and Tracy Ferreter locked their son in a room they built in the garage because they couldn't control him.
Okay.
Okay. And so that's kind of like, I'm like, oh my God, is this a whole nother scenario? No,
and that's just it. And, when the time was happening or whatever, do we know that a mattress hasn't been disposed of?
Right. Where is it?
Because, when you're there with a missing kid, blah, 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 if somebody questioned that mattress, oh, we just got that or whatever, I don't think that law enforcement would be fixated on a mattress in a garage, you know what I mean? And in the beginning, just bypass that, and maybe when they saw the cars of law enforcement being on the driveway after the fact of them going into the home or whatever the hell they did in that house, because nobody will talk about that. I mean, they could have brought a mattress to a landfill. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I don't think law enforcement is watching Ring doorbells.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week since this has happened. And he's got a pickup. So to back up that pickup in the garage and throw that mattress in and drive away and bring it to a landfill, nobody would be the wiser.
Right.
So there's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that are unanswered. And that's what I'm saying. I really think we need to start going down the avenues of...
Can we talk about something else too real quick? How about the fact that they scanned the walls to make sure he wasn't in the walls?
Well, I mean,
it's a brand new house.
Okay, but this is my whole thing with that. And, I don't know if there's something new that's what law enforcement does or whatever, but in scanning the walls, and that happened a while ago. That happened a while
In the beginning.
Right?
Yeah.
Within the first 2 weeks it happened.
Oh, I think it happened. Yeah, I think it happened pretty early on.
Yeah, maybe even the first week, but I know it was way early on. So again, I always say actions speak louder than words. So if you're treating this as a runaway, why the fuck would you be scanning walls?
That's what I'm saying. And searching landfills. LE has got to know more than we do. I mean, what the hell? Checking walls in landfills. And ponds and draining ponds, y'all.
Well, the only thing that I can remotely even go with the landfill is when Chris put out there something about Sebastian with him wanting people or kids, friends, whatever, to put him in a garbage can. That's the only thing I can think of is something on that path was said or brought up that early on that they would go ahead and search a landfill. But again, even if he was hiding in the garbage can, unless he was unconscious or, God forbid, already dead at that point, would he not, spring up? They're the garbage men. Mm-hmm. It's not Mr. Chris. It's not his mom. He would have had to herd the garbage trucks. So, again, I think the whole business with the landfill and everything was, again, to detour people from the truth. And I think he's got them on a wild goose chase right now. Mm-hmm. And everything he says, I would think the opposite of.
Yes. Me too. Like how she said, I told him to go to bed, and he did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He didn't. And she also said on a podcast, I don't remember which one it was, but when she was asked about the garbage, she said that it was the damn Live PD. Wasn't it Live PD she was on? Y'all were all like, Live PD, was she on there? She did an interview, a real quick one on Live PD Friday. And she said that when he took the garbage out, she described him as going out, putting the bag in the can, and coming back in. She didn't make it sound like he took it to the road. It was weird. Do you guys want to hear it?
Yeah, play it, because I
did you see that? Uh-huh.
I did see it. But that's just it. Was garbage picked up on Monday?
Right. I don't know. That's a really good question.
Well, I'm trying to remember some of the still pictures that they showed of that morning.
Yeah.
When law enforcement was up and down the street and whatnot.
Yeah.
didn't look, and I can't say for sure, but I don't know that I noticed garbage cans at the curb. Not everybody could have been home to bring their cans up.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, do we know that garbage was picked up on Monday? Because it is very odd to say he put the bag in the can.
That's what she said. I'm trying to find it right now.
But then Seth said he saw the can go to the curb, but he couldn't say for sure if it was Sebastian.
Correct.
So you have some
it's
film.
on Patrol. I'm sorry, not Live PD. It was on Patrol. On Patrol Live, which is owned by Law and Crime. Same. Okay. I got confused. I thought it was freaking whatever, but I've got the interview here. Now, hold on. Let me get it on screen. And Robin, if you want to stay on, I don't know if you want to stay on the line or if you want to drop off and listen. If you want to stay on the line, you're more than welcome. Just mute so you can play it on your YouTube. Because you're not going to be able, you're not going to be able to hear it through me. So you're going to have to play it yourself on your end. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay, here we go, guys. This is about 2.5 minutes long. Let's listen to Katie Proudfoot. This is on April the 13th, 2024.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Hold on. This is a horrible copy. Someone recorded it on their damn phone. Where is it? No one has it? Y'all. All right, I might just have to turn it up really loud. Hold on.
We're keeping our face and we're praying every day that we're going to find Sebastian.
What's the latest on the search?
So law enforcement is exploring any and all possibilities. They're communicating daily with us about updates and the statuses. We have faith that all the law enforcement agencies involved are doing everything that they can, and we're going to find Sebastian and bring him home.
You know, the most important thing right now is to get the word out about Sebastian. What would you like our viewers to know about your son?
Sebastian, he is high-functioning autistic. He loves animals. He loves video games. He loves fishing. 3, 2. I'm so happy. He's typically a very sweet boy. He can be quite temperamental, though, if he's overstimulated or if he's stressed out. He has a unique run. He runs like the Naruto anime character. When he's excited, he likes to dab, and he loves music. He loves to dance.
That's all very helpful information. Now, if Sebastian's out there watching, what would you like to say to your son?
I would say, Bubba, we love you. We all love you so much. Wherever you are, just know that we are not going to stop. We're going to keep searching. We're going to find you. We're going to bring you home. And if you ever get an opportunity, find a phone, find a safe adult, call 911. But I'd also like to ask our community to please keep searching your properties. Keep sharing his flyer.
Looking at her
if you know
checklist.
something or you see something, please say something. Call the law enforcement immediately.
The law
We're
enforcement.
going to do everything we can to help find you.
Thank you.
Now, let's take a good look at Sebastian.
Okay, I had
He's
the
15
wrong.
years old,
I had the
5
wrong
foot 5,
interview.
100.
That wasn't the one where she says it. I had the wrong one. Dang it! I'm sorry, guys. But while we're doing that, let's listen to Seth today. Robin, if you want to stay muted, let's listen to Seth here on the Pascal show and see what Seth had to say after the I hate you, F you yesterday. Okay? Here we go.
I hate you, fuck you. Now, is it true that there was an exchange of heated words between you and Chris Proudfoot when he showed up? Is that true?
No, he just came up and spoke. He had actually showed up earlier before everybody showed up for the vigil. He showed up. He swung by. I had one of my truck pops, putting some windshield wiper fluid in there, and he swam by to see if I was having vehicle problems.
Mm-hmm. So he came over to.
And then he came by.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he.
So he said that he had his hood up because he was putting window wiper fluid in, and Chris stopped to see if he needed help.
Came by afterwards, right before the vigil started, to have a conversation with me.
Right.
And, wanted to put stuff aside and work together to find Sebastian. And I told him that's all I want is to find Sebastian.
So he's the one who said, hey, we should align up, we should join forces and try to find Sebastian, correct?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it was Chris's idea.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing. That's great news. That is great news.
That's fine with me. Let's do it.
I see. I see. So then, okay. So then let's talk about this video, okay? Because it's blew up. It is blown up the internet overnight. Okay, I woke up this morning to DMs, et cetera, with this, reacting to this video. Can you explain to me?
Green eyes! Oh my God!
What happened? What was going on with this video?
Well, first of all, I don't have social media.
Right.
And so, about the only thing I hear is what other people be telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And besides all the spam stuff that's been coming in with people saying that they have my sons, which that takes a real particular disgusting
All the spam? I thought there was just one guy.
piece of garbage to do that.
Right.
Just kind of gets on my nerves.
Pascal's face.
And people think it's a joke. Sit there and say that they have my kid.
Ah, okay. Yeah, the fake kidnapper and
He kind of
all
gives it to him straight in
all the
this.
fake scamming that's been going on revolving around your son. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's just despicable.
I see.
In my opinion.
What's in the background?
I get it. And I get why you would say something like that, because it wasn't directed towards the people who are out here supporting. Go ahead.
I appreciate everybody that is supporting me. Anybody who has donated to the Cash App, to the GoFundMe, their time, their effort to go out and pass out flyers in whatever town they're in, whatever state they're in, people that have traveled from other states to here to help pass out flyers. 100%. I appreciate you all 100%. All right. But these people that just don't understand that I want to find my son, and why people are sitting there trying to go, oh, we're Team Seth. Oh, we're Team Chris and Katie. Did you hear Sebastian in Team Seth or Team Chris and Katie?
Nope.
Right.
There is no.
No, there isn't. You're right.
Sebastian in Team Seth or Team Chris and Katie.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. We have a 15-year-old child that's missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
My son is missing. Katie's son is missing.
Absolutely. Now,
all right.
But there has been a lot of groundwork over the past 50 some odd days that has been splitting the room for a little while. So what do you say about that? Because yes, you guys are joining forces, but a little bit ago, it was a different tune. You see what I'm saying? So I can understand where people are feeling a little bit like, whoa, what happened here? You see what I'm saying? So what do you have to say about that?
Some people may be feeling whoa, like whoa.
Right.
Like whoa.
There's a song.
I hit the button like whoa.
Can't remember the song, but I know there's a song.
Wow.
Coming in hot, just like the fajita.
My hip hop days are coming back.
Yeah.
His hip hop days.
It's like whoa, yeah, I got you.
It's like whoa, yeah,
Yep.
there it is. Like he who has never sinned throw the first rock.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I know I'm a sinner. I'm here. I have sinned.
He admits that he's done shit wrong.
I will say, though,
Chris
too.
was big enough man to come and ask me, you know, I'm big enough man to sit there and say, if you're going to help, come help.
Okay. Okay.
You know?
Okay.
How many challenges will God give me before he gives me my son?
Hopefully not many, but you also got to remember that he's here. I mean, God is present. He is there for you.
Yes.
And maybe,
but he's also watching to see how I react. He's
True.
watching to see if
Okay, I mean that's I don't want to hear him talk about God and shit. Robin, you can unmute and let me know what you think of that. I will find that, you guys, that video where she says that about the bag. I just have to find which one it was. There's so many.
I think he's backtracking is what Seth is doing.
Uh-huh.
I think he's backtracking. I think he's trying to appease. He's trying to keep the money coming in and keep Sebastian in the limelight. Because, I mean, if it wasn't for social media and whatnot, a lot of this would have died off. But on the other hand, he's trying to appease Chris. Because whatever he's done, bad in his past, blah, 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 whatever it is, Chris has something on him. So he's trying to appease both sides. But that's going to get us nowhere because, again, it's just another tactic to take the light off of the matter at hand, and that is finding Sebastian. So now all we're doing is Chris is just installing all these other deterrents because we're not talking about the search anymore.
But wouldn't it be easier just to come out and say, you know what, this is what I've done?
To me and you, yeah, but apparently to them, no. So, again, what would be the reason? That I don't know, but they always say, follow the money. And now that money seems to be the biggest factor in this whole thing now. Yeah. All of a sudden, it's not Sebastian anymore. It's not the mattress. It's not the garbage. It's not the flashlight. It's not the window with the rose bushes. Now it's the money. So again, we really need to find out who's the friend with the Cash App. Where is that money going towards? The GoFundMe.
Yeah, I think that he needs some accountability. If he wants the public's help, he has to have some accountability, and maybe now he's got these professionals, and I say that in very loose terms because I know, air quotes, because I don't know. I know this girl had a show on Discovery, but that doesn't mean she's a good PI.
No, it doesn't.
So,
and again,
it's all about the flashiness. Like, what the fuck? Why is now a PI that had a show on Discovery involved? Why isn't it just some local PI help? You know what I mean? Like, why is everything so fantastical? I don't even know if that's a fucking word, but it's like we've got a lawyer on the truck. We've got a Discovery show PI who's got a TikTok and does weird TikTok videos. That's just and posts and replies to everybody. She even chewed me on Facebook. And I'm not going to bash her. I don't know what she's doing or what she's not doing, but she's spending an awful lot of time on Facebook and telling people and defending herself. So
let's go way, way, way back. Okay.
All right.
And remember Casey Anthony?
Yep.
Okay. Who the fuck was Jose Baez? Mm-hmm. Some rinky-dink little motherfucker that picked up the case
and figured he could get her off.
And became worldwide known, set him up for life in his practice. And is that the motive for this PI?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
To go ahead and now become known and to get more business and to set up her practice? Like I said, I'm not even sure he's paying her. This could be a whole pro bono.
It could be. I mean, she did get shit for this. And she said, I just renewed my license a month ago. She, what else did she say about it? Like, I don't even know how the contact was made. You know, if they reached out.
She was a nobody, and she's looking to become somebody.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Because,
you know, so
there's nothing private. I'm sorry, Robin. I didn't mean to talk over you. Go ahead.
Well, all of these people that want to insert themselves now are, you know, you have to question that. Why? It's, you know, it's not like we're a week into this. We're almost 2 months into this. Why all of a sudden now do you want to insert yourself? Like I said, I don't know how long his truck has been wrapped, but if it's recent, since all of this has come about, why? Again, nobody's looking to become somebody. And that's the whole thing. You know, we're trying to figure out the motive behind Sebastian, let alone motive behind all of a sudden people coming out of the woodwork. And when there's a smell of money, you're going to have everybody and their mother around looking for their piece of the pie. And now it's getting out of control. And half of that I blame on law enforcement, because they could wrangle some of this in if they would say something about this. And that's why I keep saying, for this to become such a circus and law enforcement not reining some of this in when they can, I question who that initial phone call was to and who is in over their head. I'm telling you, I live in a suburb of Memphis, okay? There has not been one thing on the news about this kid here. Not one thing. Not one thing.
Wow.
Okay? Not one thing. I watch Fox News locally every morning. They are the only local news that is on they are on from 4:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning.
And they're not talking about it?
Nothing. Nothing. Even remember when they were going to have that demonstration outside of the campground in South Haven?
Yeah, I heard about that.
I don't know if anything ever came about that. All I know is Proudfoot moved their site further in so they weren't there right on the street. I heard that through social media. I want to say it was from JLR, if I'm not mistaken. That, you know, before they ran him out of there because he was getting a little too nosy. But not a word. And considering that we have St. Jude, that the state of Tennessee supports anything with St. Jude, that anything remotely this nefarious would be tied to it, even if it's a third-party construction site. And then having the campground 15 minutes up the road that he's been living at, not a word, which I find so amazing. So amazing. Not even it's been 30 days since he's been missing. Nothing.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's insane to me. It's insane to me. And you know what else I don't understand? Why nobody will come out unless they put a gag on it. Why won't anybody from this construction company, why won't they verify that supposedly Chris was there at 6 a.m. with his earbud in talking to
Well,
Katie?
I'm sure due to, like, they probably have lawyers because he probably works for a big construction company, and they probably told their employees to shut the fuck up. Because we didn't have any of Chris Watts' Anadarko employees come out either. And they all interviewed with police.
They very well could have put a hush on that, but I don't think there would be any legalities in somebody going up to them and saying, does this construction site run from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.? That's not incriminating anybody. That's not pointing the finger. We're just inquiring of your hours of operation, and we can't even get that out of them.
Fair. I mean, I don't know who it would be. I'm willing to call people and find.
But I mean, what I'm saying
who is
not
it?
even the local reporter has gone. Where you know what I mean? They wouldn't shut a local reporter here in Memphis, especially with St. Jude. I mean, you drive over the bridge out of Arkansas, that's the first thing you see outside of that pyramid. And St. Jude, they always have construction going on there. They're always building something.
Mm-hmm.
If our government could run the way St. Jude does, and they have this huge campus with all these renowned doctors that work on all of donations, our country wouldn't be in debt. So whatever their secret is to run in St. Jude, they should let that cat out of the bag. But anybody will do anything for St. Jude. Anybody. I mean, it's not unreasonable to be in the halls of St. Jude and see a country music star, a band, somebody there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unreasonable at all.
No, and I think that's why they got on JLR, the security did, when he was wandering around their campus. They told him to scoot.
Yeah. No, exactly. But like I said, just inquire the hours of operation. And like I told you, it's 7 to 7. It's 7 to 7.
Yeah.
They are not going to be beside that hospital doing construction at 3, 4, 5.
No, not with sick children and families staying right next door. No.
You know, St. Jude, I said, you know, that is the only place in the Memphis area that you can drive by, and there are so many stories that come out good, yet so much heartbreak that is in that building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for them to disrupt and be doing construction, I'm telling you, it ain't going to happen, and it doesn't. So that's bullshit. That's bullshit right out of the gate with this guy. And it's been bullshit ever since. And now he's got Seth knee deep in the bullshit. Because Seth, he doesn't have the mindset that he can play both sides of the fence. And that's what this guy's trying to do. And it ain't going to work.
It's going to fail. Yeah, it's going to fail miserably.
It is. And I think he lost 50% of his supporters on what he said. Like I said, you can't unhear shit. And for him now to be on the bandwagon when he's fly low with the podcast and everything, now he's back on it and he's trying to do cleanup. And it ain't going to work for the guy.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad because a lot of people that were into this, I think they're going to back off with the, you don't appreciate it? Screw you, screw me. And, you know, it's heartless to say, but, you know, I mean, people are going to be, I'm giving up my time for your kid. You don't appreciate it. You know what? I'm going to spend my time back with my own kids. Screw you.
Mm-hmm. Here's the cleanup from Seth, okay? Let me read you Justice Warrior Investigations. This is the PI 19 hours ago. PSA. Seth Rogers is beyond grateful to everyone who has invested their time, energy, and money into helping him find his son. I understand that his choice of words may not have been the best when he said, quote, everyone else could F off. As a representative of Seth, I would like to remind everyone that this is a man who has had very little sleep in the last 54 days. And I would like to clarify who he was referring to when he said, quote, everyone else could F off. By everyone else, he means anyone who is not willing to get on the hashtag Team Sebastian train and set aside the differences. What? We don't have to like the Proudfoots.
No.
The bottom line is, if we all love Sebastian and want him home, we are going to have to join voices. We are stronger together. As I've said, I apologize to anyone who was offended by his choice of words. But please try to look past that and see it for what it is. A man who is trying to stay strong and find his son on very little sleep. Thank you and God bless. Well, then, you know, there's people that comment, and like when she doesn't like the comments, she literally is there responding and going back and forth with people.
And again,
I mean, there's
how
nothing
much
private.
work are you doing for Sebastian if you're handling now the PR of this?
I just don't get it. It's like, I thought they were private eyes. There's nothing private about posting your every move on Facebook. So that was 19 hours ago. Now we have 5 hours ago. Moving on from the drama and forward to finding Sebastian. Hashtag Team Sebastian. Now I'm going to read you some of these comments because people are not buying this. Okay. They're not all just going, oh, okay. So, someone says moving on, and they reply that moving on means let's get past the finger pointing, drama, hurt feelings, and past statements. Let's put our energy into finding, oh, this is from Tracy. Let's put our energy into finding Sebastian. Sebastian needs all those who are concerned to focus on him, Tracy. I don't know. I mean, then you scroll up, and then she shared Justin on TikTok 2 hours ago, just shared the video, didn't say anything. And then this person says, for something that was very clear, there sure seems to be a lot of clearing up after the fact. So people aren't buying it.
No, I mean, people aren't buying it, but, like I said, once this GoFundMe money started rolling in, Seth has become very lax in going out and searching. If you notice, we're not hearing about that from anybody anymore. He was out today. He was out over the weekend, this and that. And I ain't buying the bullshit with the shoulder because I don't care if I was missing my legs. You wouldn't stop me from going and looking for my son. And as far as the PI, that's just damage control. And she knows it. And she's trying to clean up his mess. And I'm sure she called him and said, what the fuck did you just do? And that's why he's on the podcast, because she knows this is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. He ain't doing much anymore, Seth. He showed up at a vigil, and part of that, okay, he showed up at the vigil and was part of that for optics, because all of a sudden, now Chris shows up there to have this big commotion. Come on.
Right. Like, why do that at the vigil? If you want it to be about finding Sebastian, why are you confronting or speaking about this important mending fences at the vigil? It doesn't make sense. I feel like it was all for show.
That's why I'm saying, because, I mean, look at Chris, look at Seth. What is it for Seth to close the door out of that truck and to say, listen, I ain't dealing with you now. If you want to stick around and have this conversation after the fact, but again, this is about Sebastian. I don't have time for your fucking nonsense. Right. That would be the response from a concerned parent, not someone that's being manipulated by a controlled narcissistic freak that is doing this for optics. And that's why that whole PI, that's damage control. I would expect that from a PR team, not a private eye. Yeah. Because if she's posting 19 hours ago, 5 hours ago, well, how much PI shit are you doing?
I'm playing actually their Discovery Plus trailer right now. I'm not playing the audio. I'm just letting the video roll. But this is your girl. That's Heather. And this is their PI show. Just showing you guys on screen. Cassie, thank you so much. Check Facebook. This is Robin talking. I happened to really enjoy her conversation this afternoon, so I went ahead and shut the phone line down and kept Robin on the line with me today. So, Robin, thank you for spending your afternoon with me. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. You have been wonderful.
Fun. I think we unraveled a lot of things. I've given a lot of people a lot of things to think about.
Dude, you really have. You have really, we've gone full circle, and it's not one specific person we're attacking. We're just looking at everything that's been going on.
It is. And, and that's just it. And I mean, I would just hope that maybe after this conversation that people would start thinking out of the box and put their resources and energy, whether it's putting out flyers, whatever it is, and just rethinking this whole thing, because there are a couple of pieces to this puzzle that are missing. And it's just not Chris controlling this whole situation. It goes deeper than that. And I'm telling you, my gut tells me somebody is in over their head with law enforcement in that town.
Baby girl says if she has a show, she must be damn good at what she does. It doesn't mean she's good. It could be. It could be.
Have a show, but in a past life, I think I might have been an attorney.
Oh my God. Well, Robin, thank you for calling in today. I'm going to let you go, and I'm going to play some more of these videos of the PI so you guys can get a broader view of her past and what she's done. And then I'm going to wrap it up. We've been going a long time. But Robin, you are more than welcome.
Maybe we'll talk again.
No maybes about it, girlfriend. I got your number. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I would love to talk to you again. I really have appreciated you.
Good deal.
Yeah,
everybody
awesome.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thank you.
Robin is the best. We enjoyed Robin today. Let's give Robin a huge hand. She gave us tons to think and talk about. Yes, she did. So let's watch a couple of these videos here. I've got Secret Lies and Private Eyes. This is the Farrier Files. We've got, let's go back here. Let's go back and watch this trailer. This is from the Discovery Plus show, and you'll see that Tracy is in here. They're all in here. Ready? Here we go. When the cops won't help you, call the Justice. What are they? The Justice Warriors. Investigation.
I'm not what people think of when they hear the word private investigator. The bright red hair and the tattoos, they just really don't see it coming when they look at me.
We're all going to sit near that location. I run a team of 14 PIs. Most of them are women. Who's got him?
We all do.
Drop it. Drop it. I got him right here.
We're dealing with people who are literally running from the law.
If I get struck for this shit, I'm going to be
someone
pissed.
would assume that it was an accident.
Oh, holy.
People are going to assume he's guilty.
Wait, is that the lawyer? They have a lawyer on their team. Is that the lawyer that is on the side of his truck? Tell me it's not. Tell me it's
not. How does somebody just disappear?
That is crazy. What is he doing?
There's no way
Who
he
is
can talk his
driving?
way out of this one.
Bang, bang, I hear a gunshot.
That's actually terrifying.
Oh.
This case is riddled with rumors and questions.
I don't know anything about anything.
What the hell happened here?
I did not see this coming.
How was it that my brother had a hole in the back of his head? Drag marks on his back.
Fuck off and die. I really like it when people underestimate me, because that's how I'm going to get you.
So there you go. I don't know how old this is. Let's see if we can find out on YouTube. See how long ago they put this up. 2 years. So 2 years ago. And then now here's this.
Eyes are watching you. It's not just a Daryl Hall and John Oates song. It's also a feature of Music City, Private Investigators, Secrets, Lies, and Private Eyes. It is streaming on Discovery Plus, and we got to speak with one of the PIs featured on the show, Nashville's Heather Cohen. Now listen, as progressive as this world has become, and myself personally,
Ooh, she's all dolled up for this one, y'all.
Women as bounty hunters or private eyes.
Women are private eyes all day long. Are you
taking a
fucking
lot of
kidding
risks,
me?
and you guys are gutsy.
Yeah, I love it. I don't know what else to say.
Well, let's talk about some of the situations that you find yourself in as a bounty hunter. You got to put these clues together, and people are hiding in some pretty unpredictable spots.
Yes. They can, I mean, just really anywhere, they, in a dryer, in the air, in the air ducts, or, in the attic, or, anywhere really. I mean, anywhere they can fit. They'll hide anywhere they can fit.
Mark Klein.
That's incredible. And the investigation wings that you do in your with your company, HMC Investigations, who comes to you? What are they looking for? What are the common things that people are asking for? Or is there a common thing?
Yeah, as a private investigator, switching gears from the bounty hunter to the PI, I think that a lot of the people that reach out to me tend to be people who are kind of frustrated with, they don't feel like their case is really going anywhere. They don't feel like necessarily, the detectives, the lead detectives, the law enforcement are taking leads seriously, and they just get really desperate, for somebody to listen to them and to and to think, I guess, a little bit outside of the box, and turn over every rock and get those leads that law enforcement may not necessarily take seriously.
Well, sometimes when we think of private investigators, you think of kind of divorce or custody or things like that. But you bring up a really interesting point, especially at a time period when our law enforcement are really taxed. And there's been great strain on the investigative wings in various departments. So that's kind of where you fill in that void.
Yep, it is. And you bring up a good point, because I think most of the time when people hear private investigator, they automatically imagine us out with binoculars, like, snooping on some cheating spouse, and there is a lot of that. And not to say that I'm not above that. I mean, it's money. Money's money. I'm gonna go where the money is. So if I get a case where somebody wants me to go catch their husband cheating, I'm gonna do it. But as far as like, my passion, where I really want my business to go, is I want that to be like my main focus, is helping people who, aren't getting the justice. Their voices aren't being heard. The victims' voices are not being heard, going in that direction and just pushing a little bit harder.
There's so much to learn. It's all on Discovery Plus right now. It is Secret Lies and Private Eyes. Look for Heather Cohen and then a whole team of investigators as part of this series that is streaming now on Discovery Plus. It's so good to see you. And I hope to only see you in this manner.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're happy that you do what you do. Thank you for that. You're watching Today in Nashville.
There you go. There's Volt. I can't seem to find her TikTok. I don't know why I got oh, you know what? I got a notification. And why, I don't know. Is there something wrong with the merch site, guys? I just got a message. She said she moved from bounty hunter to PI. But this is their website. It's called thejusticewarriors.org. And I have a clip. I wanted to play this last week, and you guys can check out their Facebook as well. She was just posting Alec Murdaugh not too long ago here. See? She was following Alec Murdaugh back in January. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, the vigil. Oh, here. This is how I found it. My bad. Here's her TikTok. We'll look at it while we're on here. And then what was the other thing I was going to show you? Oh, that clip. She goes live on her thing. Heather Michelle. It's going to make me log in. I hate TikTok. Do I have to log in, y'all? Anyways, check it out. You can check it out on your own. I don't want to play all her TikToks because the music anyways. It's Justice. She was live on TikTok not too long ago. Justice. She was live on TikTok 23 hours ago. Yo, it's Heather Michelle, the Justice Warriors. So check out her TikTok, okay? Because I'm not going to go on that. But I'm going to show you this clip. Hang on, let me get it pulled up. I had it up the other day and we never got to it. So I definitely wanted to get to it today. It's from when Heather went on STS Nation. I don't even know why I'm calling it that. But she went on Surviving the Survivor. Here is a short clip. I want you guys to see this. So, I mean, I look at like panels when you go on with like law enforcement officers. Like if I was invited on a panel where I knew like FBI agents were going to be on or whatever, I would, I'd be sitting a little straighter. I wouldn't, I wouldn't look so normal or, I'd dress up a little bit, and I definitely wouldn't smoke ciggies or anything like that. Because I think of it as like sitting on a stage. But here we go. You guys can be the judge yourselves. But she came on here. I don't even really know why, to be honest with you, why she even went on here, because she had just gotten the case like 2 days prior, and she kept saying she didn't know because she just got the case. But here is what, and then the whole petition thing. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but the FBI doesn't take over cases and like boot all other law enforcement off cases. Like it would have to be really, really extreme for that to happen. Okay. So this whole petition is done in vain. No one's going to rip the TBI and all of the local law enforcement and the emergency operations and all of that off the case. And the FBI is not going to take over a missing child case. They're just not going to do it. But I guess you have to hear it from an FBI agent himself, which was on STS Nation. So let's listen to this clip. And this is Heather Cohen and her partner Tracy and Joel from STS, and then this FBI agent.
Official capacity on this case. Heather, yeah, I'm sorry, I got it. Yeah.
I would have my mic muted because my dog was barking. Yes, I am.
Can you tell us a little bit more?
Well, to be honest, I was wanting to hide, in the shadows for a little bit, but what I understand, I believe that the sheriff gave a statement to Channel 2 today that there have been 2 private investigators hired. And so the cat's out of the bag. Myself, and there is another private investigator also has been.
Okay, just because the sheriff said there's private investigators involved doesn't mean you had to go on a podcast that night. Weird.
Officially hired. And so, yeah.
And are you hired, if I can ask, by Sumner County? Is that who hired you?
No, no, I am hired by the biological father. And again, I didn't want that to be known publicly.
Then why are you talking about it?
Out of the bag, everybody knows. So there's really no reason to hide it at this point.
Nobody knew.
So
what is she talking about? Nobody knew. Nobody fucking knew who she was before she came out and said, I was hired by Seth Rogers.
So you're hearing it here for the first time. Heather Cohen's firm, Justice Warriors, now working in an official capacity, hired by Seth Rogers. It just goes to show you the links that Seth Rogers, the father, is going to here. We're getting a little funny. if you're not speaking, if you can just keep yourselves muted, that would help me, Rob and Tracy. I know it's a little bit of a pain, and then we'll unmute as you go. But Heather, there's a question here from Annie. Is it time to try pinning the mom, Katie Proudfoot, against the father, Chris Proudfoot, with a time-limited bluff about the first one gets the deal kind of thing? Are we at that point yet where you've got to pressure one side or the other?
Well, no, I'm not at that point. I've only been working this case for 2 days. So I don't know where law enforcement are at with it.
She's happy too.
But I'm still trying to vet. I'm still trying to figure out who I even, believe should be on the radar. And I'm not at a point to that I'm comfortable publicly saying anything about the Proudfoots.
We're looking at a picture here, obviously, of Sebastian Rogers, missing 15-year-old. If you have tips, 1-800-TBI-FIND, or you just reach out to Heather Cohen through Surviving the Survivor at Gmail, since she's in an official capacity now. This is one photo, and this is another photo that I saw today. This is an Amber Alert. This almost looks like an AI-generated photo.
It is.
But
it is.
This is an Amber Alert.
Who made an AI-generated photo of this child, and why? This lady? Did they do it?
One of two that I think are still active that may have changed since last week. But last week, I know there was one of two active in the nation at that point.
So that's just your little clipster of that. That's pretty much what I've got for today, guys. I want to thank you guys for all of your support. It was a great show. Thank you, Robin. Thank you to all the callers that called in. Let's give them a huge round of applause because we had another successful call-in show. Let's give them a round of applause. And we are going to be live again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I hope you will join us then. Thank you so much for all the members. We're going to run our credits. And it looks like we might even meet the Wheel of Friday this week. We only have 2 little goals to meet, and then we can spin the Wheel of Friday. You guys are amazing, amazing. Keep an open mind. Be kind. But it's okay to question. If we don't question, you never get to the bottom of things. So let's keep it real. I love you guys. Mwah. Thank you so much. Brittany, True Crime and Other Stuff, subscribe up to them. If you've got a channel, let us know in the chat. We support you. We love you. Thank you so much.
Because we bought snacks because,
he's 15. Snacks. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists for more true crime content. And if that's not enough, you can join our Patreon. Don't have a tinfoil hat? It's okay. We'll make you one. It's that easy. See you guys in the next video.
See you later. Bye.
Baby D.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn.
Ooh-wee, that will scare somebody.
She said, we came home, we planted flowers.
Yeah. You wanna be. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently. You're making plans to get to friends, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. Staying up late, sleeping all day, dreaming about Cadillacs. Buying new shoes, hanging by the pool, sipping on Coke and Jack.
Is it one Jennifer or 2 Jennifers?
Thanks so much, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Everybody does.
Everybody does that. It's okay.
Jennifer loves horses.